Listen carefully. For the next 2 hours, you're going to experience mind program entry. That's a powerful force, not unlike hypnosis, transmitted through the television's blanking signal. It's going to alter your reality.
Season's greetings, my chili chillers. Welcome to a special festive edition of the Best Year in Horror. We've moved into the 21st century for this episode. We are in the digital age of 2011. A ton of horror films released in 2011. Probably more than any other year we've covered so far. But it's quality, not quantity, that will get a respectable score on our tier list. I am Krampus, and with me, as always, is Satan Claus himself. It's Peter. Merry Christmas, dude, and glad tidings, good buddy. How you doing?
Merry Christmas, Vass. Do you know what? Do you know what is beautiful about doing this wee webcasting with your good self, mate? Is I get to talk to you on Christmas Day, and that truly is the best Christmas present that anybody could ever have. Merry Christmas
miracle.
Exactly. And to quote a beautiful songstress, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. There you go, Merry Christmas. That's all Christmassy I'm getting. Check this out. I've got my Die Hard Christmas jumper on. Look at this.
No. Ho, ho, ho. Yeah. Very nice, Pete.
This is the best bit. Check this out. Oh, yeah. Did you see that shit?
All right. That's wicked, man.
Do you know?
I love it. Love it.
I went to the pub last night with this jumper on, and not one person said, holy shit, that's smart. That's from Die Hard. And I was like, what the fuck's wrong with you guys? You know what I mean? This is a Die Hard jumper, man. Anyway.
Just nobody as cool as you, Pete. There's nobody as cool as you.
Exactly, man. Exactly. But listen, I am super stoked to be with you today, mate, and super stoked to be here. Happy Christmas, everybody. I love it. I'm so happy.
Absolutely. Happy Christmas. We'll quickly get to the comments, and we'll see what we've seen this week, like recent things.
Of course.
Okay. I'll get up on the screen. Remember that, Vass? Dave's here. Merry Christmas to you as well, Davey boy.
And can I also say, Dave Boosty, happy birthday for Friday, my man. I know you're 53 on Friday.
Dave says Merry Christmas to everybody in the chat as well. Yes. Alan Turner's here.
Hey,
hello, Alan. Merry Christmas to you as well. Yeah, I've had a good day. Been quiet Christmas, to be honest, but it's been all right. Dave says it doesn't feel like Christmas to me, but that's okay too. I guess long as it's a chill day, that's all good. That's right.
We'll change that. We'll change that, dude. You've just so happened to tune into the most Christmassy motherfucking show. Get ready to feel like fucking what's that guy? Get ready to feel like Santa Claus. Anyway, what's that guy who was in The Thing? Oh, my favorite actor in the world. He was in The Thing.
Keith David?
No, he was in The Thing. He was in fucking Escape from LA. That guy.
Kurt Russell.
Get ready.
Well, how do you think Kurt Russell?
I know. Get ready. Like I said, Vass, I've just woken up. Get ready to feel like Kurt Russell from the new Netflix Christmas movies. Okay, that's you, Dave Boosty, tonight, man. You're going home tonight with a smile. Right,
awesome. Dave says, not chilling for myself, but Friday was my 53rd birthday, so that was kind of cool for the weekend special. Especially, I don't do anything exciting or anything big, but it was all right. Got a lot of good rest. Yeah, it was my kid's birthday is tomorrow, so yeah, Sam's birthday tomorrow.
Oh, happy birthday!
Absolutely, happy birthday, Sam. Dave says, "Hey Vass and Pete, I'm 53 nowadays. You're at Twist, yeah. I'll be saying that for the next year." Gareth here, happy birthday, Gareth. Who does it like? I know. It was a surprise to both of us, but there you go.
No.
Dave says Wilford Brimley. I was picking anybody except Kurt Russell because I thought nobody forgets Kurt Russell.
I know. By the way,
did.
I love a bit of Wilford Brimley. I love a bit of. You know what? For this show last night, I was watching The Thing remake 2011, right? And do you know what? Right, they were all like, maybe it does this, maybe it does that, maybe it does this. And I was thinking, you just need Wilford Brimley, because Wilford Brimley could hop on that corpse after 2 seconds and tell you this thing will imitate life and it will take over the planet in 26,000 hours. And that's how much they needed Wilford Brimley in that fucking movie, man. Anyway, sorry, I love Wilford.
Well, we'll get on to that, Pete. We will get on to that. Dave says, I thought Pete was saying Wilford Brimley looked like Santa. I suppose he does a little bit. God says it was between you and EastEnders special. Oh God, I've not seen EastEnders for probably 20 years.
Oh me, I bet a load of folk died. You know, you can bank on that from a Christmas special. Folk died. Oh,
it's normally a downer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, Pete. So, have you watched anything good this week? Anything current?
Do you know what? I've watched 2 movies. The first movie I watched was Violent Night, and I really liked Violent Night, Vass.
I liked really it as well, mate.
Yeah. It got my Christmas feels out. It harked back to Die Hard, you know, little subtle nods, and there was really good humor in there. I thought it was a fun, violent Little John. I really loved it, mate. The second movie I watched was Glass Onion, because it was the big Netflix premiere this week. You know,
how was that? I've not seen that.
Well, it was 2.5 hours of fun, mate, and it was how can I put it? It was enjoyable. Every second was enjoyable.
Yeah. Is it as good as Knives Out?
Well, I thought it was not as good as. I mean, well, it's more enjoyable than Lights Out. Lights Out, sorry, because you know it zips along a little bit faster, and there's little subplots that weren't in Knives Out type of thing. And the main character, Daniel Craig's character.
We're gonna have trouble with you tonight, Pete. I know we are. We're gonna have trouble with you tonight.
I know. Daniel Craig's character gets a bit more to do here, and it's fun. It's very fun, mate. But if I'll be honest with you, the plot isn't as tight as it should be. You know, you can clearly see the end coming. And there are things in there that you think just don't make a lot of sense. But it's a whole lot of fun, so you let it off. My movie of the week, though, mate, right? And a friend of mine, Stu, said, you need to watch this movie called RRR on Netflix. And I was like,
okay, what? Right.
Yeah.
Bollywood film, isn't it?
Yeah. It's an action film. It's kind of like that movie Carter that you watched recently. And I was like, oh, I really like Carter. And he was like, oh, go watch this. What a fucking movie that is, man.
How long is it? Is it 3 hours?
3 and a bit hours, mate. But it is some of the best action. And there is a wee bit of song in there as well. But it's some of the best action you've ever seen. If you haven't watched RRR yet on Netflix, go and watch it. Because it's simply stunning, mate. As an action movie, as an all-round entertainment movie, it's absolutely simply stunning, mate. By 15 minutes in, I thought, holy shit, I can realize what kind of movie I'm watching, and this is epic. It's absolutely epic. There's no way I can dull this down. It's an absolute stunning movie. If it was a horror movie, it'd be in my top 3 for the year, without a shadow of a doubt. No, it's an action movie, and it's simply stunning. If Vassy, go and watch it. You'll love it. You will love it, mate.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I've heard a lot of talk about it, but to be honest, I've been avoiding it. I'm not quite sure why, but yeah, okay. With your endorsement, B, how can I not watch it?
Go and watch it. I mean, within 15 minutes, this guy is fucking fighting a tiger, mate. A tiger. And yes, there's a lot of CG creatures in this, and there's a bit of like leave your brain at home. but you don't mind because the journey that it takes you on is just complete fantasy, complete stupid, but fucking brilliant, mate. I loved it. I loved it. So my movie of the week was definitely RRR. However, if I have to weigh up the Glass Onion and Violent Night, it's got to be Violent Night because I thought it was so enjoyable, mate. What about your good self?
I mean, that's the one I saw. Yeah, that's the one I saw as well. Violent Night. I liked it a lot. I especially liked the Home Alone bits. I thought they were good, man. They were a lot of fun. It was like it was cringing. I was going, oh no. But they did that really, really well. But it was not what I thought it was going to be. Actually, I thought he was going to be like a badass from the beginning, like a badass Santa. But he like turns into a badass Santa. But at the beginning, he's not like that at all, is he? But yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, you're saying we're gonna stay like very festive, and I don't know if I should play me the clip there. I don't know. So I'll play it anyway.
Humbug, motherfucker.
Exactly.
That's the only bit I got.
Exactly, man. Exactly. And obviously, mate, I grabbed the family last night. I did go to the pub last night. And as soon as I got back, I was like 9 o'clock. You all around the TV. And my son was like, "No, I don't want to. I hate you. I hate you guys. You know, I want my own space." And I was like, "Get in front of that telly, daughter. Get in front of that telly. Die Hard, mate. Die Hard. It ain't Christmas until fucking Hans Gruber hits the pavement, mate. That's the deal, man. That's the deal." Loved it.
Those are the rules.
Oh, listen. By the end of the movie, my missus and my daughter, they were asleep. And I looked over at my son, Alex, right? Do you know the bit where he goes like that? And the camera pans down. He's got the gun in the back. I looked over at my son. My son was like that, going, and I'm like, you still love this movie? You still love this movie? Brilliant movie, man. I love it. It gets better and better, that movie, man. I fucking love Die Hard. It's just the best. It is John McTiernan, right? If he was here right now, do you know what I'd do, mate? I'd hug him. And I'd take him for a drink. I'd hug him and take him for a drink, mate. And I'd be like, I'm going, you, John. You're a good lad. You're a good lad.
I can't fault that film. It's one of the best.
Brilliant.
One of the best.
Brilliant.
Anyway, the only other movie I saw was a Netflix movie. It was called The Nanny. It's like a Blumhouse movie. So I thought it was gonna be like it's a sort of horror film, but it's like it's got a really, really slight story. But it's like those movies that move along so slowly you can't really follow what's happening because it's just moving, it's just creeping along so slowly, nothing much is happening. It was one of those types of films, and it was like I had like this much story, and they just stretched it over like an hour and 40 minutes. It was okay. It wasn't
kind of like that fucking Stephen King adaptation that was recent.
Same sort of thing. It was like, I don't know. I mean, to be honest, I'm not quite sure. Like, it was worth making a movie for. Maybe like a short, like little thingy story. But it was fine. It was more drama than anything else. But it was okay. It's worth a watch if you come across it. I think I saw it on Prime. That was the only other one I watched. But yeah, let's get the comments. I'm gonna get straight onto this best year in horror 2011 because we're gonna get through this as quick as we can. Because we don't want to stay all night. It's Christmas night, isn't it?
And there's a lot of movies. We've got to cover.
Yeah, flipping. There's a lot of movies. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Right. Dave says.
One thing I will say, Bass, before we get going, 2011 movies. I have to say, I've watched a fair bit, and I'd already seen a fair bit. Isn't it a pleasure watching 2011 movies compared to like 1978? As in, the cameras actually mean to fucking catch it. They seem a little bit better made, you know what I mean? It's weird. I was watching them with Ruth, and I was like, "Oh God, these feel like actual movies." Some of the movies that I've been from 1994, just feels like a mate with a camcorder going, "Oh, go and stand there."
Yeah. To be fair, there's a couple of those type of movies in 2011, very amateurish ones.
There is.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I had to watch them as well. Right, Dave says, I know you like The Descent, Vass, but did you like Part 2 much? I just saw a retro review of Part 2 today and reminded me it was okay, but not as good as Part 1 and had Hollywood Lightning Caves. I liked Part 2 very, very much. I've got no problem at all with it at all. Like, it's, I think they're a good pair of movies, them.
I'm with you, Vass. I'm with you. I liked. I love The Descent. I think The Descent's a wee bit of a masterpiece. There's not often a British horror film comes along and becomes a bit of a masterpiece. You know, I think it.
Same with Rec 1 and 2. It's like just like a
Yeah,
duo of movies that they're just like a really, really good couple of movies there.
agreed.
Yeah. All Ricky's here from All Death Reviews. Merry Christmas, Young Vasim. Happy Christmas to you as well, Ricky. I hope you're having yourselves a merry little Christmas and on this fine winter's eve. Yes, we are. Thanks, Ricky. Dave says, because of new Facebook friend, I rewatched the movie Martyrs and I still don't like it. I give it a 3.5 out of Boosty 10. You know, Pete, I hate that movie, but I know you like that movie very much.
It's a masterpiece, Boosty. What are you talking about? It's a masterpiece. Shame on you.
We disagree. Dave says, my friend explained Martyrs more in depth to me and I still don't like it so much. I understand more about it and I do like a few parts, but overall, I didn't like it. Thought it was wasteful. Take that, Pete. Take it.
Wasteful? Boosty. Boosty. No. Fair enough. Listen. You know, there's not a lot of people that do like Martyrs, to be fair. And you know, and I've tried to show it's one of them horror movies where people come around and I'm like, oh, put
It's not easy watch, is it?
Yeah, put a horror movie on, Peter, blow me away, and I'll go, oh, put on Martyrs. And then an hour and a half later, they're looking at me like, what the fuck is wrong with you, Peter? What the fuck I thought you liked me. So I get it. For me, it's a masterpiece. I think the performances are absolutely solid. I think the direction is absolutely beautiful. Cinematography and everything like that. I think there's not a piece of this movie that isn't stunning. But you're entitled to your opinion, Boosty.
Yeah. This is like I think Descent 2 7.5 out of 10 and Descent 1 an 8.5 out of 10. Glass Onion.
It sounds like you liked The Descent 2 a little bit then, Boosty. You know, 7.5 out of 10. That's a good mark. That's
pretty good, isn't it? That's not bad at all. It says the Glass Onion I thought was okay. I saw that Friday. I don't like the last half an hour or so. The mysteries are always the toughest to sum up at the end and make good. I thought it was filmed well. Yeah.
It was long. I thought Daniel Craig was absolutely amazing.
Yeah. He gives it 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
Said it was ripping off the remake of House on Haunted Hill and Escape Room 2000 something, or other mixed with the knockoff of Death on the Nile. Wow. Okay.
A wee bit. To be fair, he's right.
Yeah.
He's right.
Yeah. Oh, actually, God, before we go into 2020, what we at 2011, we need to do the our quiz, Pete. We need to do our quiz.
I love a quiz. I love a quiz.
Are you ready for the quiz, Pete? Hang on. Let's get rid of this.
Ready.
I'm all over the place today. My goodness. Right, let's get the banner on first.
Okay.
And let's get the intro on. And let's get to the quiz of the year.
Pop quiz, asshole. You have a hair trigger aimed at your head. What do you do?
What do you do? Right. Okay, mate. It's the quiz of 2011.
Okay.
Okie dokie, mate. So the first question is always the first question. What is the what movie from 2011 won Best Picture at the Oscars?
Do you know what? You ask me this every week, and smart people would actually just jump online before the quiz and fucking just look this up. But I'm not smart.
That takes all the fun out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll give you a clue. It's black and white.
It's black and white. Oh, The Artist.
The Artist. That was right, mate. The Artist. It was.
Yep.
And what was the top grossing movie of 2011 worldwide?
Top grossing movie of 2011 worldwide.
Don't look it up. Just guess, man.
No. Okay. Top grossing movie of 2011 worldwide.
Can I have a clue? Just let.
Yeah.
This is my wand.
Oh, it's Harry fucking Potter.
Yeah.
It's Harry
Do you know
Potter.
which one it was?
Is it Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone?
No, mate. That's about 10 years off. It's the last one. Do you remember what the last one's called?
Oh, it's the Harry Potter Part 2, the last one. I know the one.
Yeah, it was definitely Hallows Part 2. Yeah,
Hallows Part 2. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
Dave's guessing Hurt Locker. I think that was either the year before or year after. I can't remember which.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, what was the top grossing horror movie of 2011?
Let me have a look at the
Put
list.
up for you.
Put the
Yeah.
list up. Yeah, put the list up. Can't be the Thing remake. That's for fucking sure.
You'd be right, mate. You'd be right.
All right. Put the list up, my man. Put the list up. All right. What we got here? Right. Okay. We got to. Oh, Scream 4. It's got to be Scream 4.
No, it wasn't Scream 4.
Wasn't it? Oh, was it Attack the Block?
Hell no, it wasn't Attack the Block.
Wasn't it Attack the Block? What else? Am I looking at it? Is it here?
It's right there. I'm looking straight at it. It's right in the center.
Right in the center. Oboe with a shotgun. Fair enough. I get it. Makes sense. Right. Okay. Graven Paranormal Activity 3.
Yes, mate. It's Paranormal Activity 3.
Fuck's sake. That horrible
Number one.
franchise. A horrible franchise. Okay, fair enough. Taking all the money from all,
All right. Okay.
things.
Okay. So this is music. What was the top selling single worldwide?
Single in
I didn't know it was this
2011.
old. The song, like
It's old, is it?
to be honest, it doesn't feel like the song's that old, but apparently it's from
Really?
2011. Yeah.
Okay. And it is it wet, wet, wet? I feel it in my fingers. No, it wasn't.
No,
Silver-
not this time.
Right. Okay. Give me
His name's got a planet in it. His
What?
name's got a planet in it.
a lot of what?
His name has got a planet in it.
And it's got a planet in it. Oh, my shit. It's got to be Venus. Is it Venus? Venus? Uranus.
No.
Uranus. Is it? Fucking Mars. Oh,
Yeah.
Mars. It's got to be Mars, right? Bruno
Yes.
Mars. Is it
Yeah.
that fucking? It's that hotel. Oh, what the fuck is that song? My son used to sing it so much. Is it that? This is the ice cold.
No,
Yeah.
the one that sounds like James Brown. No, it's not. It's called Just the Way You Are.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say that.
Yeah, it's a top selling album. It's by some fat chick who's not fat anymore.
Or is it Adele?
Adele, yeah,
Is it?
and 21.
I would never have got that, but apart from she was fat and now she's not fat, so I was like, oh, it's gotta be Adele. It's gotta be.
I thought you might need the help, you know.
Insurance shit isn't Michelle McManus, so it's gotta be Adele.
Yeah,
Process of elimination, baby.
yeah.
Happy days.
That's one you were singing there, Uptown Funk.
That's right. That's right, Boosty.
Yeah.
Boosty's on mine.
Right, okay. You're gonna have to guess this one. Okay, in
Okay.
2011, what version of iPhone was released?
Oh, we are now like 15 or something like that. 5. iPhone 5.
Close.
6.
No,
No,
down.
4. 4.
Four and a bit. What's four and a bit?
It's 4 plus.
4S.
4 Maxi. What,
Four king size
that-
4.
was-
4S.
was that when Steve Jobs was still alive? If it was up to
Yeah,
Steve
I
Jobs,
think he
it
died
would-
that year. I think he died in 2011. He died.
All right.
Was that one of my questions? It might be.
Yeah, well, sorry, Steve. Sorry about
Okay, last question, right? Okay. The guy who played the Thing in the original 1951 version died. What was his name?
that.
It's
Do
in
know
there
this
somewhere, I'm
as well.
sure it is.
Yeah, I do know this because it's been on countless documentaries and I've been told a million times. But just like I've been told a million times to not swear at the dinner table and not drink on a Christmas day and not be an idiot. I've forgotten. Tell me
His name is
who it is.
James Arness. James Arness.
Right.
I didn't
Oh.
write how old he was.
By the way, right? I don't know if you know this, Vass. A guy called Maxi Jazz died yesterday. Do you know who Maxi Jazz is?
Who's that?
He's
Never heard
the very talented guy from Faithless. Do you know the guy who goes, "I can't get no sleep"?
Oh, okay.
He
Yeah.
died yesterday.
Yeah.
I saw him. I saw
Okay.
Faithless and Maxi Jazz live in concert. I was gutted, man. That was my fuck Christmas because Maxi Jazz died. But hey ho, hey ho, hey ho.
Oh man. Rest in peace, Maxi
Rest in
Jazz.
peace. Yeah.
I put that song in one of my videos and it got took down, got blocked.
Really?
Yeah, I put it up and I had that music at the beginning. Can't get no sleep. That one, ding ding
Yeah.
ding ding. That. And
Yeah.
literally like 6 months later, I found out it had been taken down like a couple of months beforehand. They left it up there for months and then all of a sudden it just disappeared and didn't realize. And then I went and looked for the video and I thought, where's that video gone? And I checked it and it got a block to that song.
It's weird.
I didn't play like about 30 seconds.
I've been watching like fellow movie reviewers and all that. You know, I've been watching their YouTubes, and these guys use so much like copyrighted material. It's unreal. But these guys don't get taken down. What the, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking to myself, you know, my mate Vass, you know, if he even hums a song, he's got to be paranoid about taking it down. What the fuck's the crack, man?
Exactly. That's right.
Yeah. Weird. Oh, and can I say something, Vass, before we go on, mate? Right?
Yeah.
Last week, I thought we had a very good web chat, but come on, guys. It was like 50 viewers, man. 3 hours for 50 viewers. This time, get it fucking shared, mate, between your mates, man. Come on. We always need to be in 3 digits. Help us.
Absolutely, yeah. I don't know, but it was an awesome episode last week. I mean, I think we've been killing it the past few weeks. But sometimes it does well, sometimes it doesn't do so well. I can't work it out, mate. Cannot work it out.
Not me.
But just keep going, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, mate. Let's. I think we can get into this now. And okay, let's get the list up, and we're going to start this, mate, because we've got to fly through these movies, mate,
Okay,
as quick as we can.
Let's do it.
Where we are? There you go. Right. So the first movie on our list is A Cabin in the Woods. What do you think?
Saw this movie at the cinema. Yeah, saw this movie at the cinema. I was very much looking forward to this movie, and it didn't disappoint. To be fair, thoroughly enjoyable kind of horror yarn. It harks back to every single trope that there is in horror movies. It's a who's who of what's going on in horror movies. I'm harking back to the bit where the whiteboard, and they've got all these different scenarios on the whiteboard, and you're just kind of like hoping that you're going to be able to witness, one scenario, and there's only a couple of scenarios, obviously, that you can see. I love this movie. It's got good humor. In fact, it's a comedy. Let's face it, it's a comedy horror. It's great. It's great. I wouldn't say it was quite S tier, but I would certainly say it's very, very, very good. I get a kick out of The Cabin in the Woods. My daughter gets a kick out of Cabin in the Woods as well. It's Evil Dead Light, is what it is.
Yeah, I like it. I enjoyed it. It's a nice, clever film. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a massive fan of it. I've watched it a couple of times, and I had a good time with it, but nothing more really. But that's just me. I know a lot of people like it. Yeah. So, it sounds like you want to put it in A, Pete. Is that what you want to do?
A class for me, mate. A class. It's kind of a cool movie, high quality.
Yeah. Let's stick it in. Yeah. I mean, I would stick it in B, but yeah, okay. If you think it's excellent, then we'll put it in there for you, mate.
Thank you.
And the next movie is Apollo 18.
Apollo 18.
I've only seen this movie once when it came out. I thought it was fine. It was all right for like a found footage movie. It was okay, not special. What about yourself?
Exactly the same, mate. I saw it once when it first came out. I didn't think it got a lot of hate. I remember that. A lot of people not liking this movie, but I thought it was okay as a found footage movie comes out. It's a B movie for me, mate. B movie.
Right. B. You want to put it in very good?
Okay.
I'll just
No,
put
no.
it
C.
in
C,
C's.
C. You're right.
Okay.
You're right. C.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, cool. And the next movie is Attack the Block. You like that movie, Pete? I love Attack the Block, by the way. I think it's wicked. I really like this movie.
I love Attack the Block as well, mate. For me, I think this is an S tier movie. I think the director, is it Joe Cornish? Has obviously seen John Carpenter's The Thing. He loves that movie. I think every person that
definitely made with a lot of love, isn't it?
Oh, mate, absolutely. I think everybody that stars in this movie is, the fantastic. They're doing it. They're wearing the hat on the sleeves. It's a great movie. And what about those fucking creatures? And don't they just look like the creatures off the back of the fucking arcade thing of Space Invaders? They fucking they're the Space Invaders meanies, man.
Do I?
And they absolutely made my fucking childhood come to life with that movie, the Space Invaders, guys. I thought it was scary and funny and fun and
exciting as well, isn't it?
Exactly, and I think there was even a bit of anti-hero Escape from New York in there as well, for good measure. It's S tier for me, mate, all day long. Attack the Block.
S tier.
Absolutely.
Ooh.
Absolutely.
Ooh. Okay, Pete. I'll default you again. I would have put it in A, but yeah, if you want to put S tier, we'll have that.
S tier for me.
Okay.
Right. We've got to see the chart. We can't see the chart, boss. We can't see the chart.
Oh, is that right? Yes, you're right. Keep reminding me. Keep reminding me.
Yeah.
Right, there you go. It's in S tier. Already our first S tier. To be honest,
exactly.
When I perused them, I thought there was going to be no S tiers at all this year.
This is going to be a good year, man. This is going to be a good year.
Okay. The next movie is Stephen King's Bag of Bones, which is a TV movie.
Right.
Have you seen it?
I haven't seen this one. I haven't seen this one, Val.
Yeah. I have seen it, but I remember nothing about it at all. I was just going to see who directed it. Bag of Bones miniseries, where we got American TV miniseries. Just bear with us.
Mm-hmm.
Mick Garris directed it. Fuck that movie. It's shit. It's shit. It's going in F. It's a piece of shit.
I tell you what, Mick Garris seems to like his fucking Stephen King adaptations there.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the only
he doesn't know any about Stephen King letting him do them. And the next movie is 11-11-11, which I remember watching that when it came out, and I was pretty disappointed in that one.
Me too, mate. I can't remember.
It's going to be good.
Yeah, I can't remember much about it, mate. Apart from when I first saw it, and I thought it was pretty disappointing. It was a Darren Lynn Bousman movie, and it was a movie that purely is opportunistic because of the date. It came out at 11-11-11, and he made a movie called 11-11-11. It's not very good. Darren Lynn Bousman, for me, is a journeyman of a filmmaker. I think he's a bit of a studio hack. He's like, oh, you're the guy who made Saw 2 and Saw 3.
Mm-hmm.
Go and do me another Saw 2 and Saw 3. If it makes 15 million in return.
One trick pony.
Yeah, exactly. If it makes 15 million off £1 million budget, you've done all right, Darren Lynn Bousman. But that's about as high, I think, as his career is ever going to get. He struggles to impress, this guy, unfortunately.
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't think it's one of his movies that I think is like a really, really good movie.
Yeah.
Let's quickly get to some comments. Keep up with these.
Yep.
Okay. Davey says that James Arness guy, the one who died from The Thing, he was in Gunsmoke. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Dave says Jim Arness, some name like that. I can't remember. Yeah, it was James Arness. Yeah, that's exactly right, Dave. Plus, also Kenneth Torby was in that movie as well. I don't know who that is. I'm not too good in these all the actors. Dave says we even had a great psychic moment or two last week as well. Me only a partial psychic, but still was kind of cool anyway. You know, Pete, we did that psychic experiment a few weeks back. People are skeptical. They think that was a setup.
Mate, that wasn't a setup. I was thinking about that the other day, right? I was thinking that must have looked so fucking phony. But I'll tell you what, it fucking wasn't, mate. It fucking wasn't. And feel free to chuck squiggly line to me at any time. And I'll try and pick up with them. But no,
I want
that
to try
was
it again, but I don't want it to go bad because that was such a special thing that happened
Wait,
there.
what?
It was
It
like, I
was?
don't want to do it again in case we
mean,
get it.
Listen,
badly wrong.
don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Maybe we were not psychic when Vasi chucked the images he chucked at me. I picked what I picked because I thought it would have reminded him of Ghostbusters. So I used his movie knowledge to guess what I thought he would have picked. And I don't know if that was the reason he picked it, but that's how I picked right. It was 100% genuine. We don't lie to our viewers here on Sunday night. I mean, shit. If we lied to our viewers, we'd be like that. Yay! We wouldn't be here on Christmas fucking Day if we lied and disrespected our fucking viewers. So no, absolutely.
If you want us to try it again, say so in the comments.
Exactly.
We can get 5 comments saying to try it again. We'll do it again and see how it goes. Okay. Dave says I got the joke, but I didn't like having in the woods or Cabin in the Woods at all. I give it a 2 out of a boosty 10. Here I'll give it a D. It was just recycled the movie. They recycle so many things on purpose. Yeah. To be honest, I liked it better the second time than the first time. I think the first time I was kind of leaning towards the same thing. I don't know why I wasn't getting into it.
I mean, it's a homage movie. If if a horror movie making homages to different horror movies is going to piss you off, don't watch Cabin in the Woods.
It's got a lot of. If you pay attention, there's a lot there to enjoy, though, isn't there? If you pay attention, Look at all the little things. Is like you can see a lot of things like every time you watch it. Dave says I'm not a big fan of found footage movies necessarily, but Apollo 18 was kind of good. Part of the ending I didn't like here. I'll give it a C, a 7.5 out of 10. I think that might be why there's so many movies in 2011. I think there's quite a few found footage films.
Yeah.
Almost give it a B. Gareth's asking, are you high, Pete?
Hi, Gareth. How you doing? Well, I had a couple of glasses of wine today, Gareth, and I went to bed for a few hours. In fact, my daughter woke me up. She woke me up. I was sleeping downstairs. She went, Dad, you've got 12 minutes till you're on the internet. And I was like, holy shit. So I was running around. So not high. Not even.
And I was here at 1 minute to 7. I was here shitting myself thinking, oh no, I'm going to have to do it by myself.
Totally. So not high, not even hungover yet. The hangover hasn't even kicked in yet. But I'm on Coca-Cola, caffeine. I'll be fine. Thank you, though, Gareth. Thank you. Concerned about me. I like that.
To be fair, you're always on good form, Pete.
Yeah, thank you, mate.
Dave says Bossman directed Spiral. Oh, he did, didn't he? Directed Spiral. Actually, he didn't do a bad job with that, actually.
I don't know. I don't like Spiral, mate. There's something about Chris Rock.
Do you not like it?
Nah.
Is it him you don't like it?
There's something about Chris Rock acting a fucking serious detective I can't get my head around. Like, and you're thinking to yourself, what possibly could be the score. And Spiral falls victim to the Cherry Falls saga, right? And what I mean by that is when you've got a movie like Cherry Falls, you're looking for someone who's a named actor who's in the background, and he's obviously going to be the killer because they're a named actor. Yeah, right, you know what I mean? Yeah. And that's exactly what happens in Cherry Falls, and that's exactly what happens in Spiral. It's spot the named actor. Nah, I didn't like Spiral. I thought it was a missed opportunity. I have no idea why Chris Rock fucking was creaming his pants over this script and fucking going all Hollywood's doors and that going, I'm going to relaunch Saw. This is going to be the best thing and all this, blah, blah, blah.
I prefer Jigsaw to that, to be honest. I thought Jigsaw was a better return of the Saw franchise.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not big on the franchise at all, to be honest.
Nah,
we got
part one of the Saw franchise for me is brilliant. I loved it. I saw it at the cinema. I knew there was going to be a twist ending, but I genuinely didn't see the ending coming.
I remember, Pete, before it came out, just when the trailer came out, and it was, you were like raving about it. You thought that this is going to be like the best movie ever, and it was. I mean, honestly, the first movie when it came out, it was something special, wasn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, it was an independent horror film. It was nobody's making a horror movie, and the end blew your fucking socks off. You know what I mean? It was Fincher-esque.
Yeah.
It was it was up there to those standards. You know, I showed it to my daughter a couple of years ago, and the ending blew her away. Would I show my daughter Saw 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Of course I wouldn't, because they're shit.
Yeah.
But part one is, it's an absolute credit.
Yeah.
Even Danny Glover is good in it, and absolutely Danny Glover was only there for a paycheck. You could tell his acting was there going, when I get my money. That's what he was basically saying. He was like, oh, can you say this, Daddy? Can you say this, Daddy? When I get my money. And he was like, no, don't say that. Don't say that. Say it in this way. And he was like, okay, what if I say this? When I get my money. That's basically what he said. But I love Danny Glover in that movie as well. When I moved up to Scotland, a little anecdote in it, when I moved up to Scotland, I started working a mobile phone shop, right? And we used to get a fuckload of commission for selling mobile phone contracts to people, right? But we got a bit of commission for selling mobile phone contracts, but we got quite a lot of commission for selling insurance to people, right? And insurance, you'd actually make more money from rather than selling mobile phone contracts. And I remember we had kind of work speak that the general public didn't know. And so rather than my manager coming up to saying, have you sold cover on that phone, Peter? He'd go like that. He'd walk up and go, Peter, what about that movie last night with Danny Glover? Danny Glover, cover. Right. Peter, did you get a bit of the old Danny Glover? Did you see Lethal Weapon last night with a bit of the old Danny Glover? And I go, I haven't seen it, mate. And then he know that I haven't sold Danny Glover cover with it, right? Or I'd say, yes, I did, mate. Danny Glover's the best. Lethal Weapon is the brilliant. And then he'd come over and go, all right, no bother. But if I said to him, no, I haven't seen Lethal Weapon, then he'll come over and sit with us and go, guys, let's talk about insurance. And then he talk to people and Danny Glover cover. There's my Danny Glover cover anecdote for you, mate.
That's sweet, man. I like that. Dave says, I guess star, but I couldn't guess the correct color at the moment. Then, all right, when we did the psychic test. Yeah. Hassan, hi, Hassan. He's gonna be a teenager tomorrow. He's gonna officially be a teenager.
Get the fuck shit up, man! Yes. Sorry, I mean Vasi. No, of course, don't do that, Hassan. But yeah, fucking 13 years old, man. Yeah. All right, sorry.
Keep it on the cool, man, Pete. Come on. Dave said I had a Smirnoff peach lemonade nip bottle. What for Christmas? Awesome. Dave says I agree, Pete. I couldn't take Chris Rock seriously at all. There was one good scene where he ragged on the Saw franchise a little, and that was about it.
Yeah. Fair play.
Samuel Jackson was okay in it, but then again, he's okay in most things. This is true, but his role was wasted in that.
Agreed.
Gareth says if someone dies off screen, they are the killer.
That's right.
Yeah, because they're not really dead, is it? Yeah.
That's right.
Dave says at Boston
right,
Comic Con, I got to meet Carrie Elwes, and I had him sign an autograph photo with him on the floor, and he wrote "Game Over, Dave." That was back in 2018. Oh, I like that guy. Sweet. Carrie Elwes is cool.
Sweet. Aye.
Excellent. Right, let's get back to this. What was the last one we did? Was it 11, wasn't it?
Vagabonds, that was the last one.
Yeah, and the next movie was Absentia. And I'd never heard of this movie, Pete. This is Mike Flanagan's, one of his first movies.
I think it was his first feature film.
Yeah, it was very, very low budget. I really liked this one, Pete. It was really good.
Me too.
It wasn't like a groundbreaker or anything, but yeah, it was a good story, well told. A little bit confusing there for a while, but I enjoyed it a lot. Did you like it?
Me too, mate. This was the first time that when I finished Absentia, when I watched it, I think I watched it about 3 or 4 years ago, maybe a little bit more. I remember finishing the movie and making a mental note of who directed this movie because I thought he was going to have a huge career, and he's gone on and had a huge career.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a stunning debut from Mike Flanagan. I think he absolutely utilized every penny that he had for this movie. This movie doesn't work if the two leads aren't as good as they are. They're very compelling. I think Doug Jones is in there as well, which is great. But
yeah, he is, isn't he? Just for a few seconds, like not for long.
Yeah, just for a few seconds. But his two leads are absolutely astonishing, acting wise in this movie. I thought they carry the whole film, and it's a real, how can I put it, unsettler. It's a get under your skin movie, and it works. Absentia. I loved it. It's something that I refer to in the independent horror movie sector as a gem. And it's a gem for this movie. For me, it's A or B class. I'll let you make the decision.
Let's stick it in B.
Yeah.
Like I said, absolutely never even heard of it. I had no idea he'd made that movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can definitely see like his skill on talent. Let's stick it in B though, if that's all right with you, Pete. Because I didn't think it was. I didn't like totally wow me, but I could see the talent of Mike Flanagan in the movie. But it was like super low budget though, wasn't it?
Super low budget, yeah. I mean, it's an absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's everything that a horror independent movie not should be, but is. You know what I mean? But it's absolutely utilized to its full potential. You know, great writing, great directing. You know, if you've got those two things in your armory, and plus, you know, a couple of actresses that absolutely, you know, believe in the project, you've got Absentia. It's a stunning debut. But quite worthy of its B class. I agree with you. Not quite worthy of the A class, man.
Yeah. The next movie's Detention. Do you like that movie, Pete?
I saw this thing on Netflix. I think it's on Netflix or Shudder, one of the two. I saw it about 6 months ago. It popped up there, and I watched it. And I remember fucking hating it, mate. To be fair, I remember fucking.
Did you hear?
Yeah. I remember fucking hating everything that it was about. Its angst and everything like that. I didn't get it. Maybe I'm too old. Who knows? There's probably a bunch.
That's weird, that Pete. I wrote my notes for that movie. It makes me feel old. It's like it's a comedy horror, which is which is weird because I never cracked a smile during the whole movie, and like there's zero scares or suspense in the whole film. But it's a bit like a mashup of Scott Pilgrim and a John Hughes movie. But it's a pretty wild film. Like, it goes all over the place. I mean, it's very stylish, which I liked. But,
very stylish. But you know what? You know what stylish? Made Instagram, and half the folk that I know on Instagram aren't fucking stylish. You know what I mean? It's all about filters and it's about fucking posh photography.
Yeah.
But there's no. It's
no, that's what I liked about it. Yeah, that's about what I did like the most about it. But there's got a lot of energy to the movie. But it goes all over the place. It's got aliens in there, slashers in there, time travel in there, all sorts. And it just kind of just fell apart because it didn't make any sense. It was just, I don't know. I didn't care about any of the characters. And it was like
it was style over substance for me, mate. It was, like you say, all over the fucking shop. It infuriated me, this movie. Somewhere in this movie, there's
you can't have tell. Yeah, you can't have tell the guy who directed it does music videos. Totally, like it's like screams out. Yeah, it's the kind of movie. If you see little clips of it, it probably looks like an awesome film because the little scenes on their own, they're really nifty. But when you put them all together, it's just a big mess.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Where should we put this one, Matt?
Stick it in D. Because I was as exciting as it was, I was like, at the same time, I was like bored with the story because it didn't make any sense. So let's stick that one in D.
Agreed.
And the next one is Scream 4. Pete, are you a fan of Scream 4? I am not, by the way.
No, I'm not a fan of Scream 4, mate. I think Scream 4 was a lazy ass fucking sequel. It was an absolute cash grab. It's Wes Craven at his lowest. It's just a bad movie, man. There's nothing redeemable about this fucking movie. There's nothing.
The kills are okay. The kills are quite decent. I'll give it that.
True, but toned down for a 15 certificate or an R rating in the States.
Yeah.
You know, I just thought this movie was, unfortunately, everything that Scream, the original, parodied. It had become. You know, when a parody becomes the subject of its own parody.
Yeah, it did seem had even had actors from Scary Movie, which is nuts.
Yeah.
Why would they do that?
Yeah.
And that beginning bit was like a beginning bit from a Scary Movie. Scary movie
Absolutely. And never ends as well. It fucking never ends that beginning as well. It sucks.
Yeah. Stick
I
it
mean,
in D.
D, but you know what I mean? If you chuck that in F, mate, I wouldn't disagree. It's
Let's stick it in D. The kills are all right, man. The kills are all right. Now I don't mind the kills. I'll stick it in D for that.
Fair.
And the next movie is Demons Never Die. Have you seen it?
I've not seen this one, buddy.
I have seen that one, mate. It's a British slasher movie. And do you know who produced it?
Who?
Idris Elba produced this movie. If you can believe that. Yeah.
Idris
fucking
Elba.
It's absolutely dreadful, mate. It's like a British whodunit slasher. And I tell you what, man, British slashers just don't work, man. It's like, you know, when they hear a noise, they go, hello? Somebody there? It's not funny. I'm going to call the police. And it's like, it just doesn't work, man. As a British slasher, it just doesn't work. It's like, it's a bunch of like dumb college kids who decide to they're in like a chat group and they decide to make a suicide pact. Right. And then someone's going around killing all these people who have made the suicide pact. And why they did that, I don't know. It's like a mask slasher. But it's really bad, man. We could do a better job. I was watching, I was thinking, give us the money. We can make a better bloody horror film than that.
Well, Bassi, that's 2023 project. Me and you're going to make a movie. That is definitely.
It'll be a fun bet than this. Yeah, let's stick it in there.
Right? I bought a game this week. I was in Tesco's and they were selling Gran Turismo for the PlayStation 5 for 25 quid and 60 quid everywhere. It said reduced to clear Gran Turismo 7. And I was like, oh, fucking, you're coming on with me. You're coming on with me, son. So I bought it, loaded it, took fucking an eternity to install. But once I installed it,
must be a big game. Yeah.
No, it's huge, huge. Once I installed it, it looks beautiful and all this, but who's on the fucking first tune of the soundtrack? Idris fucking Elba, man. Rapping. Idris Elba's rapping on my first tune. He's like, oh, what, Squire? Oh, what? Idris fucking Elba! like that. Yeah, like that, God. It's Idris fucking Elba. I'm Idris fucking Elba! I punch beasts in the face. I do. And yeah, because it's Idris Elba. He fights tigers. He's a rapper. He's a DJ. He does everything because it's Idris fucking Elba. Anyway, sorry, but yeah, Idris Elba is on the soundtrack of Gran Turismo 7. Man, I was like, oh fuck, I cannot get away from Idris fucking Elba.
Oh man, so funny.
Sorry.
Right, mate. The next movie is Final Destination 5.
Right.
Oh, but let's get it on the screen there.
Put the chart up. Did
you like that movie, Pete?
Final Destination 5. Is that the bridge one?
That's the bridge one, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the bridge one, mate.
That's how you define the movies.
Exactly. No, listen, you know, with all the Final Destination movies, apart from part 1 and part 2, actually, for me, I kind of forget about everything that's in those movies, apart from the first real fucking, you know, Final Destination event. The Final Destination event, if memory strikes me correctly, Final Destination 5 was pretty shit on 3D. And the bridge was fucking extraordinary.
Yeah, it is really good. It is excellent in 3D. Yeah,
absolutely. I love the fucking first half hour of this movie without a shadow of a doubt. I think it's fucking great, mate. It's hugely enjoyable, exciting, scary, and it's an event that really could happen every day as a, you know, to a normal person, you know, a normal schmo like you and me. I could not tell you what happened after that. I could not tell you what happened after that in this fucking movie. I'm pretty sure that death and its grand design, you know, comes from every single person that survives. But for me, it's all about the carnage at the front of this movie, and I really loved it. But can't remember anything about the rest of the movie. I'm going to give this B for me, mate. B. just purely because it's enjoyable.
I totally agree. Yeah, there's not a Final Destination movie I don't like. I like them all, and I mean you're right. The specific kills is hard to recall them because there's so many in all these movies. Do a quick ranking, Pete. I would do myself. I would do 2, 3, 1, 5, 4. That sounds about right.
That sounds
good.
That sounds good. For me, I think it's for me, I think it's 1, 2, probably is 4 the one with the gymnast where she fucking breaks her legs all over the place because that was fucking awesome.
I don't know if it's that one or it might be the 5th one. I don't know.
Okay. Well, whatever.
Like you said, they all mixed up, aren't they? They're all mixed up. They're all interchangeable.
Yeah, exactly. Well, in that case, then I'm going to just say part 1 and part 2. I thought 2 was an absolute blast. It was, a sequel that actually, not only kind of, rewards the fans of the existing movie, but shows them a hell of a lot more as well. It really had its tongue firmly placed in its cheek as well. I love part 2. Yeah,
I prefer to the first one. Right, so we'll stick that in B, and the next one because it's very good. Next one is Fright Night, the remake. Do you like it, mate?
Fright Night, the remake, mate. Yeah, listen, I watched it a couple of months back, and I've seen it before. I think it's on Disney Plus now. I like Fright Night. Yeah, I like Fright Night, the remake. I
think it's a decent remake.
Me too. I like Colin Farrell in pretty much anything. I think he's a great actor, and I think he's one of those actors. Even though he's purely getting a paycheck here, he still gives it his all. And Colin Farrell works for me in this movie. There's not a lot of bad things I can say about this movie, mate. I liked everything about it. I didn't think it reached the dizzy heights of the original, of course, because the original for me is a bit of a masterpiece.
Agreed.
But Fright Night, the remake, is a perfectly pleasant remake that has its own ideas. And I thought the guy from Doctor Who that's in this was fucking show-stealing. I thought he was amazing in this movie as the new Peter Vincent. I thought he was great.
He's not Roddy McDowell, though.
No, he's no Roddy McDowell. No, absolutely. I'm going to give this a satisfying B for me. Yeah,
I agree entirely. Yeah, and the 3D is not as good as Final Destination 5.
Yeah.
Let's stick that one in B because it's very good. And the next one is The Resident, which I have seen, and all I remember it was fine. It passed the time, but I don't remember it being like anything special. Yourself?
Yeah, I've seen this, mate. I watched it the first time, and I remember thinking to myself, Hilary Swank, more like Hilary Wank. I have no idea why she took this movie. I really didn't. And it's that Oscar syndrome again, because I believe that she recently won an Oscar for fucking $1 Million Baby. And I think pretty much this was the first movie that she did afterwards. And I thought it was a TV movie at best. Low talent everywhere. Or,
very familiar story, isn't it?
Absolutely. Jeffrey Dean Morgan was, there was nothing to gain from his villain in this movie. There he is on the fucking poster, which pretty much sums up the movie. Like, I'm watching, blah 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 blah. I thought it was a bag of Hilary Wank. So I'm gonna go with D for me.
D.
No exactly.
That's fine. I've never gone back to it, so it's obviously not that good. Is there any comments there? Let's have a look here. Dave says, I didn't like Scream 4. I even rewatched it semi-recently. I liked it a little bit better the second time round, but still give it a 4 out of 10. Here, I'll give it a D. Love the closet gag, though. I tell you what, I watched this before Scream 5 came out because I knew I hated it, and I still hated it. Alexander Azure, first directorial debut, I think, was High Tension. I haven't seen the whole movie. I saw like the first 45 minutes of it, and then I had to shut it off and run an errand or something. We're big fans of that movie.
Yeah, Dave, go back and watch the other 45 minutes, man. Fuck.
Dave says at some point I'll go back and watch the rest of it if I haven't fallen off track on the movie Tension. You should definitely check it out.
Yeah.
Dave says, didn't like Final Destination 5. I like the series up until that point. I give part 5 a 3 out of a boosty 10. Ooh, that's low. They changed the modus operandi of death. They changed the rules. I thought that ruined it. I like the twist that it takes place before the first one. I like that at the end.
Yeah.
Part 5. Dave says 1 was okay. I heard originally it was going to be an X-Files episode, but they turned it into a movie instead. Oh yes, from the writers, isn't it? Same writers as some of the X-Files. I love part 2. It's my favorite, mine too, mate. 3's okay, and like part 4. Yeah, it's a very strong franchise.
It is.
No question. Right, the next movie is Take Shelter, which I don't remember thinking of it as a horror, but it comes up as horror. So
yeah, I don't think this movie is a horror film, mate. I mean, I've watched it a couple of times. I like Take Shelter. I think it's a very strong movie. I think it's a character piece. I think it's about a man that's is a bit of an outsider that struggles to kind of blend in, and he has this epiphany. He knows that something's coming, and he knows even before he voices it that no one will believe him. So he just decides to make sure that his family have got a fucking underground shelter ready and waiting. But the thing is about this movie's quite a slow movie. It's all worthwhile for a bit where he's in a community hall, and he just stands up so angry and goes, "There is a storm coming!" And as he says that, as the viewer, you can feel this weight lifted off your shoulders because he's finally voicing it. He's finally getting out, "There is a storm coming," and nobody fucking believes him. It's a good film. Yeah. Film. I think it's a good film, mate. I don't think it's a horror film, but if it's in the horror movies, I'm going to give this a B because it's
B. Yeah,
high quality. Yeah, it's high quality filmmaking, and can't go wrong.
Yeah. The next one is called Apartment 143, aka Emergo, which mate, I have seen a long time ago, but I don't remember anything about it. Do you?
I have not seen this film, mate, but it's one of those ones that's been on my streaming box and keeps popping up. Do you want to watch this? And I'm like, no. So I've missed it.
I can't remember if it's found footage or what. But I remember I have seen it, but I don't remember it. I'll stick it in not seen because I really remember nothing about it. The next one is Chrome Skull, Lay to Rest 2, which I just saw this week. Have you seen it, Pete?
I've seen it, mate. When Laid to Rest and Laid to Rest 2 first came out, I remember watching the pair of them, and
I've not seen the first one. I've not seen the first one.
Right. I liked the pair of them. I thought they were quite dark, violent, very much like what Terrifier is these days.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought of when I watched the second one. Was this is about as gory as Terrifier is, but the main dude is not as charismatic as Art the Clown. Right. Nowhere near.
You're right.
I hated it. I couldn't stand the movie. Absolutely.
I mean, when I watched it, I thought it was serviceable, not memorable. That's why I've never gone back to it ever since. And if you've only just watched this, your memory is way better than mine is from this. If you say it's a piece of shit, then guess what, Vass?
I know some people like it. I can see why they like it. I mean, if you like super gross and extreme movies, then you'll probably like this one. But I didn't think it was made very well at all. And like the first 15 minutes was had this awful shaky cam. And it was like that fake sort of shaky cam that used to get on TV shows. It looked terrible. It looked really bad. It starts off exactly where the first one, I guess, left off. So I didn't know what the hell was going on. I still don't know why he was going around killing people. Got no idea. They don't explain anything in the second one. I guess you have to watch the first one to understand the second one.
There's no real explanation in the first one, mate. He's just he's a nutter that likes killing folk. Yeah,
I thought it was boring, man. The kills were just nasty and mean-spirited, and I didn't like it at all, mate. Not one little bit. Not my cup of tea. I'm going to stick it in D, mate. I didn't like it at all.
No problem.
If you like gory kills, then check it out, I guess.
Yeah.
The next one is The Right. Now, we've spoken about The Right before in detail, so we both thought it was okay. So should we just stick that in C, move on?
Yep. Absolutely, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fine. Anthony Hopkins is good. That's about it, really.
Yeah.
The lead
Yeah,
guy is not
I
very
agree.
good.
Agreed.
The next one is Paranormal Activity 3, mate. Do you like this one? Sounds like you don't like the franchise very much.
I don't particularly like. Well, listen, I liked everything the franchise could have been. When Paranormal Activity 1 came out, I saw it before it, before it actually got released, and I liked the small movie that it was and what it achieved. It was chilling. I guess what I didn't like was the 140 million dollar fanfare, where everyone's going, this is the scariest movie ever. And I'm thinking, well, it's not. It's just, a good little independent horror film.
Yeah.
So I wasn't behind a whole franchise. And by the time we get to Paranormal Activity 3, I think they've, jumped the shark a little bit, to be honest.
Do you not like the 80s setting in it?
Say again?
Do you not like the 80s setting of the third one?
Yeah, listen. It's not bad, and each of them tried different things, and I get that. They at least try to change the format, but ultimately, it's more of the same, mate. It's for me, Paranormal Activity 3 is a bog standard horror movie sequel. Let's not try and break the mold too much, and if we, as long as we deliver a little bit what we delivered in part 1, or they delivered in part 1, we're pretty sure to make at least 60 or 70 million at the box office. And given the fact that our budget is only 2.4 million, it's basically the prototype for Blumhouse. The Paranormal Activity franchise, is exactly what Blumhouse are all about, taking micro budget little movies and making them, 50 and 60 million dollar movies. They don't have to be too impressive, but as long as they make that 50 and 60 million dollar mark, they're deemed as an absolute fucking financial success. So let's have another one. So let's have another one and another one and another one.
Yeah.
There's nothing creative here for me. There's nothing scary here for me. I couldn't distinguish Paranormal Activity 3 from Paranormal Activity 5 or 6 or anything like that. It depresses me, this franchise. I know that if they give us the budget of Paranormal Activity 1, Vass, we could make a better horror movie than Paranormal Activity 3. I'm going to give this I'm going to give this what's 0? Is that D or C? Ooh, sorry, have you lost me? All right, okay. Let's give it. It's a D for me, mate.
Seriously,
it's a D for me.
All right. Well, I disagree there, man, Pete. Honestly, the first couple of Paranormal Activities, I'm not huge fans of, but this one, I really like this one. It's it had a budget. It was 5 million for this one, 5 million, and I don't know. I think I just like the setting that it's set in the 80s. I think it's just makes it a bit different, and like the sort of do-it-yourself sort of where they put the camera on the on that fan, and that sort of the just little touches that they have in the movie. I like, and I think it's got some good jump scares in it. It's only short movies, like an hour and 20 minutes.
Is this the one that's directed by the guys who did Catfish? Or is that part 4?
No idea, mate. No clue at all. I don't know. This is my favorite of all the Paranormal Activities. This is the one I like, and I've watched it a few times, and the jumps get me every time. Like some movies, when you watch them a second, third time, it doesn't work anymore. But this one, I think it's interesting all the way through, and the jump scares work. And
I'll
nice ending.
I'll revisit it because I didn't watch it for this show. I'm going off what I remember from watching Paranormal Activity 3, so I'll revisit it. And I'll let you know what I think.
I'll tell you what. Well, if you want to put it in D, I would put it in B. But let's just stick it in C, so we're like meet in the middle. Is that all right?
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good.
Yeah, it's not like an all-time great movie for me, so I'm not really that bothered. So, but let me get the thing back on again. So let's go ahead and stick it in C.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Sounds good.
Yeah, that's Paranormal Activity 3, and the next one is Grave Encounters. Do you like this movie, Pete?
Vassy, I really like Grave This found footage movie hits my sweet spots. Does this Vass? It reminds me of Elwood. It reminds me of loads of stuff. The psychic guy totally reminds me of Elwood in this movie. I really like Grave Encounters, mate. It's a horror movie that wears its heart on its sleeve. It delivers, I think, what it says on the tin. It's spooky. It's got its jewels. I like its mind-bending fucking last 20 minutes of this movie where it goes absolutely insane. I think some of its found footage staged scares ahead of its time. There was only really Wreck that I'd seen that had real rehearsed, jump scares that were, must have taken weeks to actually get right before they actually rolled the cameras. And this had that. I really like it, mate. I'm not so fond of Grave Encounters 2, although I own that as well. But I like Grave Encounters.
I hate Grave Encounters too. I can't stand the second one.
Listen, I've got a soft spot for this movie, mate. For me, it's a B movie.
Yeah,
it's a B movie. Yeah,
seriously. Honestly, man, you know what it was, Pete? I'll have to disagree with you again. The first time I saw Grave Encounters, I thought it was the best found footage movie I'd ever seen. Everything worked. Everything worked. It was exciting, and the jump scares were awesome, so good. And then I watched it again, and I was so looking forward to watching it again after a few years. And I put it on, and nothing worked for me. Not one of the jump scares worked, and it was, I don't know, it wasn't even. I totally lost interest in it, and all this stuff was happening, and I didn't care, and it just fell flat. The whole movie just fell flat on the second time I watched it. I not watched it a third time. I don't know what's going to happen there, but the second time I watched it, I was like, I can't believe this was the movie I thought was so brilliant the first time around, because nothing worked, man. Absolutely nothing worked when I watched it. So, but to be honest, if I was going on that first watch I ever had of it, I would definitely stick it in BP. But the way it is, I don't think it's that good. I don't think it holds up. I do not think that movie holds up on repeat viewings. But obviously you like it very much. What would you put it in? And maybe we'll find somewhere in the middle. What would you put it in?
Well, I was originally going to put it in B, mate. It's a B movie for me.
Yeah, go on then. I'll let you have a B, mate.
Thank you, Vass. Thank you.
I would stick it in C, but I'll let you have it B. No worries, Pete.
You're a good man, Vass.
I am, aren't I? I'm a big softie. It is Christmas.
Exactly.
Wow. Right, I think we've forgotten the comments for a while. Let's get back into these.
Yeah.
You have to remind us, Pete, to get to not, because that annoys me when people don't read the comments and they're so far behind. Dave says, when you said a movie called Tension, which I haven't seen yet, I thought of High Tension, and that's why I mentioned High Tension. Well, Dave says 1111, Apartment, whatever. I haven't heard of those two movies, or that other one with the storm coming. I haven't seen that one either. I mean, of those three, I would say go for Take Shelter, but don't expect a scary horror film or anything. Just a good movie. All right. Oh, Rabbi's there. Hi, babe. Dave says a big Hopkins fan, as am I, and I remember the ad when it came out, but somehow I didn't see the right yet. I'll have to catch up with that one at some point as a reminder to myself. Haven't heard much about it. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Dave says Merry Christmas, Rabia, and hi. Season's greetings. Dave says I saw the first one, Paranormal Activity, and I didn't really like it at first. It was okay, and then it got wicked silly. Since then, I haven't seen the sequels at all. No interest. I even like that the one that's in 3D. What's it called? The Ghost Dimension. Watching it in 3D, it's good. It's a good movie to watch in 3D. I know it gets a lot of hate, that one, but I don't mind that one at all. Where are we at here? In Paranormal Activity 1, I did get a good serious laugh out of the fact that the ghost punched a frame picture of the husband in the aftermath of it. I wasn't looking that closely. Did Film Buffs dropped in for a second? He says, Merry Christmas, guys. I think I rated Paranormal Activity 1 +2 with a 0.5 out of 5. Some of the worst horror movies ever made, in his humble opinion.
Fair play.
There you go. Dave says, Merry Christmas, Dutch Film. Yes, Merry Christmas. And Happy Christmas. I think Hannibal Holocaust might be my favorite found footage movie, Vass. Oh, not cannibal movies, dude. And said earlier, I'm not a big fan of found footage movies either. I didn't like Blair Witch one either. I'm not a fan of cannibal movies, dude. I can do without them. Yeah, I got that, mate. Thank you, Dave. And probably saying Merry Christmas to Dave. I agree with Dave. That's fine. You can agree with Dave. He might be right. We might be wrong. I don't think we are.
No, I mean, listen, for the record, Cannibal Holocaust is a fucking horrible movie, man.
I've never seen it, mate. I'll tell the truth. I've never seen it.
Oh, listen, I bought it, man. It was finally released after its 25-year ban in the UK, and I bought it. I didn't watch it or anything like that. I went straight out to HMV and I bought this movie. I remember taking it home, putting it on, and I watched the whole thing. And I remember after the movie finished, feeling very, very depressed. Just at the lack of humanity that's in the movie, but also behind the camera and everything like that. There wasn't, there was no redeeming features for this movie. I remember going back to HMV and saying to the lady behind the counter, "You really shouldn't sell this movie." And I remember giving her it back and saying, "I want to swap it for something else." And bless her, she let me swap it for something else because I fucking
really,
yeah,
wow, that's cool, man. Right, Pete. The next one is Shark Night 3D.
Oh, 2 seconds. Come and say hello.
Yeah.
Come and say hello. It's my daughter. Hey, my daughter's bringing me more soft drinks. She realizes that.
Hi, Molly.
See you later, Molly. See you later. She realizes that Daddy had a couple of glasses of wine at Christmas lunch, so she's fueling me up with soft drinks, man. So yeah, she's a good.
There you go, man. Stay hydrated.
Exactly. Right. Okay. Sorry, mate. Let's go.
Yeah, it was Shark Night 3D was the next one.
All right.
Do you like this one? I'm not a big fan. I like shark movies, but I'm not a big fan of this one.
Yeah, no, mate, it's a serviceable shark movie. It's nothing more than bang average. It's there's not really much to say about this movie. It's a C grade movie for me. It's not terrible. It didn't make me angry, but it was it wasn't what's that movie? Rennie Harlin's movie, Deep Blue Sea. Deep Blue Sea was nowhere near Jaws, of course, but at least it was a really good homage to Jaws and everything like that. You got kicks out of its references. Shark Night had none of that, but it had sharks in it, and granted, it was in 3D, and that's certainly on the poster and everything like that. Mm-hmm. You get what you pay for here, but don't expect anything fantastic. It's a C grade movie for me.
Yeah, I'll agree with that, mate. I don't have much to say about that one. It was fine. I mean, I was hoping it was going to be really good, but it was just okay.
Yeah.
Right. The next one is Sleep Tight, which I did not manage to watch. I think it's a Spanish movie, is it?
Spanish movie, mate. It's from one of the directors of Rec. It's not Paco Plaza. I don't think it's Paco Plaza. It's the guy that I can't pronounce his name. I've met him. I met the pair of them at the Glasgow Film Fest when they premiered Rec. In fact, do you remember when Rec first came out in UK cinemas and they had the TV commercial and there was loads of people in night vision in the cinema going, yeah. I was one of those fucking guys, man. Right before the start of the movie, they asked permission to film us all. And
okay.
And I jumped out of my seat. I met the pair of them afterwards. I got them both to sign. There's a movie called The Nameless, which is a Spanish horror movie, which is really kind of dark and twisted. And I got them to sign my Nameless DVD. But this is
that's amazing.
This movie no, absolutely, so cool. Really nice guys. I mean, I was at the time I wasn't on vape. I smoked cigarettes, and we were literally having a fag outside, and we shot the breeze, and they were telling me about The Nameless, and The Nameless is a very kind of dark Cronenberg type film. Not like Wreck or anything like that, not breezy, jolty horror. This is a dark, twisted film. And he was telling me a lot of anecdotes about that movie. And I remember when I handed my DVD cover, he was like, "Oh, The Nameless." And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, he was almost surprised that I'd seen the movie The Nameless, which is cool. Nice guys, nice young guys when I met them. And certainly when they were super excited about premiering Rec. And this was before I'd actually went in and actually seen Rec, and I had a great night. I love Rec. Anyway, I love Sleep Tight, mate. I love Sleep Tight. It's a tight thriller, is what it is. Would I say horror? Well, the subject matter is horrific. It's essentially about a janitor in a building that monitors all his guests, to the extent where he follows people's lives, and he's taken it upon himself to fuck everybody's lives up. And he fixates particularly on this one lady, even to the point of artificially inseminating her with his sperm to make her pregnant and stuff. So she wakes up pregnant, and that, and she's like that. Well, I'm not the mother of God or anything. What has happened here? And it's a deeply scary film. This guy, the guy who plays the main chap in Sleep Tight, he could be anybody. He could be the guy down the corner shop. He could be the guy, the guy at the chemist. He's. Do you remember that movie 1 Hour Photo with Robin Williams, where Robin Williams is a deviant, but he is purposely meant to be that guy that will just blend in.
Yeah.
Same with Sleep Tight. It's a tight thriller. The main guy is as horrible as Hannibal Lecter, 100%. It's played absolutely straight. It's directed to perfection. You can tell that the director behind this movie clearly loves Alfred Hitchcock, and he pulls it off 100%. For me, this is a not quite S tier, but very close.
Wow, I'm going to check that one out, Pete. I almost watched it, but
get it checked out. It's a great movie. It's a great movie.
Cool, man. Will do. Yeah, it's on YouTube as well. I'd start watching it, and then I just kind of stopped. It looked like it was going to be like a slow burn movie, but it sounds like it's not.
It gains momentum, mate. It gains momentum for sure.
Right, the next one is the Speaking of slow burns, the next one is the Innkeepers, Pete.
The Innkeepers. What can I say about the Innkeepers? I like the Innkeepers last 20 minutes.
Say it briefly, whatever it is.
Yeah, listen, it's a slow burn.
Yeah.
It's maybe too much of a slow burn for me, mate. It didn't keep me involved, unfortunately. And I appreciate it for what it is, and I know it's got a lot of lovers, the Innkeepers. A lot of people like this movie. It just didn't float my boat. For me, it's a C or a D.
Yeah. Me too, mate. Me too. It was all right. It was just took too long getting going, and not enough happens in it. Right. The next one is Kill List, Pete. Do you like the Kill List?
I like Kill List, mate. I like the director. The director's gone on to do pretty cool stuff. But Kill List, for me, I don't think he's better than his first movie. I think Kill List remains his best movie. Kill List is The Wicker Man for our generation. That's exactly what it is. The ending, very much with non Angel Heart in there as well. The ending is a total good punch. I like horror movies where you've got a good punch ending, and Kill List is one of them. It's darkly violent, and it's a dark, twisted, believable, perfectly played British horror film. But again, it's not S tier. So I'll put this on the A shelf for me.
A, right. I wouldn't put that high. I like the movie. I do like it. It's just it's one of those ones where the story kind of unfolds at a pretty slow pace, and then you get the payoff at the end. I like it a lot.
So should we say B?
I couldn't put it past a B. It's not a scary movie. The ending's disturbing, but it's not a scary movie or anything, is it? It's more thriller than anything else. Can we stick it in B? Is that all right? Did you say B? Or did you say A?
With B, mate. Happy with B.
Let's stick it in B.
Yeah.
I still say he nicked that ending from a Serbian film. That's what I think.
Oh yeah. You're right. I think a Serbian film was after though.
Do you agree or not agree?
Well, I think a
very, very
Serbian
similar.
film. I think a Serbian film was after the Kill List. I think it was.
I don't think so. Don't
Was
think
it not?
so. Let me look it up.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure Serbian film was well before
Was it? All right. Fair play.
Serbian. Is it a Serbian film or Serbian movie?
A Serbian
Film.
Yeah.
2010.
Fucking hell. Shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Or maybe
enough,
just
fair enough.
coincidence, but I think it's very similar. Anywho, let's stick that in B. The next one is Wicker Tree, which is a sort of sequel to The Wicker Man. Have you seen it, Pete?
I've not seen this one, my man.
Well, I tell you what, Pete, I tried watching this movie 3 times. I started watching this movie, and it's so bad. Honestly, it's so bad. It's quite a high budget as well, but it looks like crap, and the actors are horrible, and the story is just dreadful. Same sort of thing as Wicker Man with some weird pagan cult, but it's rubbish. It's so bad, man. Seriously. Even though I didn't get finished, I think I got about 45 minutes. Took 3 days to do it, to get up to the 45-minute point, and then I thought, I ain't watching this movie. It's so crap. I'm going to stick it in F, mate.
Do it.
Because I can't imagine a movie going from being so terrible to decent in the last 45 minutes. Movies just don't work like that. If it's total crap after 45 minutes, it's not going to get much better. So let's just stick that in F, because it was so bad I couldn't even get through it. And the next one is Incubus, which I watched. I watched that today, Pete. Have you seen it?
I have not seen this movie of us. What was it like?
It was not very good, mate. Honestly, the story, I have to say, is like a half decent movie, like in the story, but it's super low budget and it's super boring. Robert Englund's good. William Forsythe's in it as well. Those 2 guys, if they kept them and give it to a decent bit of production value and a decent director, they could have made something half decent. But the way it is, it's just a crappy, forgettable movie. I didn't like it one bit. I'll stick that in D. Straight in D. It was bad. Yeah, and it wasn't scary.
Fair play.
Yeah. If you want to know what it was about, it says a skeleton crew works the final shift at a soon-to-be demolished police station when the night takes a gruesome turn when a demon called Incubus walks into the station with a score to settle. Doesn't sound too bad, does it?
Sounds all right, man.
But yeah, but it's not. It's rubbish, absolute rubbish. And right, the next one is The Thing prequel, we'll call it.
It's definitely a
so I know you got a lot to say about this, Pete, but make it as brief as you can, dude.
I will. I went back and I watched this movie again last night, right? Because I thought maybe I'm being too harsh in this movie, right?
Oh, did you?
The quick version is there's a lot of good things about the Thing prequel. If you take out the bullshit CG from this movie, there's actually quite a decent film in there. Yeah, it has a good setup. I still to this day I like the setup to the movie, how they get there, and things start to go awry when the actual beast itself comes and they decide to go full on CG. The other things that I didn't like about the movie was they take away the paranoia of the movie. Most folk who are the Thing are pretty much telegraphed in this movie who are the Thing, and there's also that people who are getting killed by the Thing or getting nabbed by the Thing, you see it, and everything in John Carpenter's version is off camera and stuff. It's very nice, and it's nice and intelligent where the axe ends up on the wall and stuff like that. It ties up it's kind of a whodunit detective story of how things ended up in the Norwegian camp the way they did. Interestingly enough, I watched the deleted scenes from this movie last night as well. And they deleted the scene where in the original The Thing, they go into the Norwegian camp and that guy's cut his wrist and he's also, his throat's way open. They cut his death scene out of this movie, and the death scene was filmed, and it's really, really, it's really good. He's literally looking out and the special effects weren't done for this scene. So he's looking out, and he's seen an alien, and then he just goes, "Fuck it, I'm going to kill myself." So he cuts his own wrist, and then he sits down the chair and literally cuts his own throat. And I thought to myself, why would you fucking cut that out of the movie? It's a movie of bad decisions, this movie. I mean, I feel sorry for the actors. I feel sorry for the director, because you can clearly see, especially when you watch the making of the movie, that they thought they had made a John Carpenter's the thing. They thought they had made a practical effects horror movie. And it seems the case that once he'd handed it into the studio went, "Fuck you," locked him out of the editing room and changed the whole fucking thing. I was super excited about this movie when it first came out, mate. The poster, the artwork, the trailer, and everything like that. It's a bit of pill to swallow, this one. But if it wasn't for the shitty effects, it would be a half decent movie. So I've got to give it probably a C or a B for me.
All right, okay. Right, well, you turned around a bit on that, Pete. You've been very generous.
I think that's generous.
Yeah, I agree completely. There's a lot that works well. I mean, it's well made, and the cast is good. It just it lacks the atmosphere, and the CGI even like takes what atmosphere there is, just like drains it of anything really. But yeah, it has its moments, has some good scenes in there. But,
do you know what, mate?
Because it's been messed with so much.
Yeah. Do you know what? It never really dawned on me until I watched it last night, mate. I think there's one or maybe two F-bombs in this movie. No blood. So when anybody changes, it's just guts. There's no blood. Where John Carpenter's version, there's blood coming from everywhere. I think this movie was going for a PG-13. I think that's where the studio wanted this movie to be, and that's its biggest problem.
Yeah. Right. So let's stick it in C, because it's not a terrible movie. It's just there's a lot of bad decisions in that movie, isn't there?
100%.
Yeah. So there isn't C, and we'll move on to the next one. I thought we were going to have to dwell on that for a long time. I'm glad we got through that quickly. The next one is Blood Runs Cold. Have you seen that movie, Pete?
I've not seen this one, buddy.
Well, I'll tell you why. I made my list, and this wasn't on it. And then I was watching some. There's some dudes who they do every Tuesday. They do the top 2 movies from a certain year, and I went back and looked at their 2011, and one dude put this on his top 2 movies from 2011. So I went and looked for it, and it was there on YouTube. So I gave it a watch, and it was all right. It was fine. It's like it looks like it's like Swedish or something, or one of those snowy places, and but they all speak English. It was all right. It was pretty slow going. The killer was quite cool. It was fine. I'll stick it and see. It was worth a watch. I didn't regret watching it. It was okay, but I didn't think it was anything special. I don't know why they would have put it in the best of 2011, but let's stick that in C. Okay,
buddy.
And the next one is You're Next, and I'm a big fan of this movie. I'm not a huge fan of these like siege movies, like what they called what they call this type of movie, Pete?
House invasion, home invasion.
Home invasion movies. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of those movies, but this one I think is one of the best ones. This one's a lot of fun, man. It's great, and the main chick is awesome.
Yeah,
and I like it because it's very satisfying to watch the film. It's a really good film, Pete. What do you think?
I think it's super stylish, this movie, mate. I was lucky enough to see this movie on a sneak preview. I'd had my eye on this movie. I'd heard that it was good. I was hearing things from, the horror internet saying that, you need to check out You're Next. I kind of like home invasion movies, not, apart from maybe Funny Games when they're a little bit too sterile and horrible. But certainly the Spanish, if you get the opportunity to see a Spanish movie called Kidnapped, it's bloody great, like a real proper gut punch. But Your Next is fun. It's got the main girl, like you say, you know, she turns the hunter into the hunted, and you're right behind her. Some of the kills are really inventive.
Yeah, she's a badass, isn't she?
Oh, badass, mate. Badass, buzz. And it's got a lot of smarts, this movie. You know, it's intelligent. You know, it's funny. It knows exactly what it is. It's got a great cast. I like Your Next. I think it's, for me, I think it's, again, not quite S tier, but, you know, it has aspirations of being S tier. So I'll give this, I'd give this 3 points, mate. 3 points.
Right, can you hear me?
I can hear you now, bud. Yep.
Oh, great. For some reason, my USB just popped out there for some reason. Right, yeah, let's stick that in A. That's what you said, isn't it? A, yeah.
Yep.
I'm happy with that, yeah. Yep. I think it's a pretty fantastic movie. And the next one on the list is...
Dude.
I know a flying things. There's so many movies. Yeah?
Dude, you just stuck that in S tier.
Did I? Shit, did I? Oh, I did, yeah, you're right. I was hovering over there. I must have just jumped up there by itself. Thanks, Pete.
No problem.
Right. It's because I'm rushing. That's what it is. The next one is Hellraiser Revelations, which is one of the shittiest movies I've ever seen in my whole life. What do you think, Pete? It's an F for me straight away. I hate this movie. I'm not even sure I got to the end of it.
It's one of those movies that I saw on TV. It was like the Sci-Fi Channel. I saw about 10 minutes of it and I just turned off. It was pish. I've not seen this film. I'm pretty certain that it's an F movie. So if you've watched this all the way through, happy to go with F.
But almost all the way through, as much as I could take. Yeah.
Oh my God! I mean, it was awful.
Right. Let's get it in F. Right. The next one is Sector 7. Have you seen this movie, Pete?
I haven't. You sent me the link for it, mate. And to be fair, I watched the trailer for it and it looks good. But I didn't have time to fit it in. Have you watched it, Bas?
Yeah. Well, I did watch it. And it was another one of the movies where it's a bunch of guys that does this top 2 thing. And one of the other guys had this movie in their top 2 of 2011. So I thought, I better check that one out. And I checked it out. And it's a Korean monster movie set on an oil rig. Honestly, man, I didn't think it was very good. It had this weird... Am I off? Am I back?
You're back on, bud.
Okay. All right, cool. Yeah. It's got this weird look about it. It looks like a computer game, like a cutscene out of a computer game. There's a lot of like weird sort of CG in there that doesn't really look very good. I think it's quite a high budget, but the monster doesn't look very good either. You don't even see it for like the first 40 minutes. Like half the movie, there's no monster in it, and then it appears and it gets a bit better, but I didn't really think that much of it. It's nowhere near as good as Host or anything like that. Right. But I don't know. I don't know if I was being generous, I'd stick it in C. I might be feeling generous. It is Christmas. I'll stick it in C, Pete. But yeah, it's not very good. The main girl's hot though. So maybe give it for C for that.
She does look hot, to be fair.
And the next one, mate, she is hot. She's awesome. The next one is Hobo with a Shotgun, Pete. Will you speak about that for 30 seconds while I just...
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Hobo with a Shotgun is a movie that I own. The first time that I saw it, it's very much grindhouse cinema. You know, it's there's nothing, there's no masterclass here or anything like that, but it's just a good grindhouse yarn about the unwanted becoming the hero, and it has this great bloody villain in it that clearly models himself on Tom Cruise. If my memory serves me rightly, there's a scene where this Tom Cruise guy goes onto a school bus and flamethrowers all the children on the school bus or some shit like that. It's and then laughs, maniacally like Tom Cruise does on Oprah's sofa, that kind of thing. I thought it was great. I had a real laugh with it. I enjoy Hobo with the Shotgun. It's always a pleasure to sit and watch Rutger Hauer for an hour and a half. That guy could literally paint a bedroom, and I'd quite happily pay money to watch that. Is it a great movie? Probably not. Is it S tier? Probably not. Is it a 3-pointer? Probably not. I get a kick out of it. So for me, I'm going to go with B on this one, 2 points. Purely for the strength of the violence, the villain that's modeled on Tom Cruise and Rutger Hauer, who's just an absolute pleasure to watch. So B from me, Vasi. B.
All right, yeah, I totally agree, Pete. It's just a fun movie, over the top. Rutger Hauer's awesome in it. It's just a good time in it.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
Like you say, it's like an exploitation type movie in it. Yeah, it's I think it's one of his last really good Rutger Hauer films. Yeah, let's stick that in B.
Nice.
Oh, let me get the list back on again.
By the way, Vas, can I just say, it was a nice list this week. It was a nice list this week. I liked it. It's always promising when you've seen a lot of movies on the list because you've got some shit to talk about. But B, the stuff that I hadn't seen, I was genuinely curious about. There might not be a lot of S tier movies this week, but 2011 was a pretty good year for me.
Are we on still?
We're on.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I can hear you.
All right, good. I thought my internet's a bit shit today. The next one is Hostel Part 3, mate. And I did not even know there was a Hostel Part 3 till I saw this list. Apparently there is. I'm not a fan of the franchise. I've not seen this one, Pete. Have you?
No, I've not seen this one, Bass. Hostel 2 was enough for me. Yeah. I've not seen this, mate. I don't think I'd want to see this.
No, I don't like these types of movies. Right, the next one is another one I've not seen and don't want to see. Human Centipede 2. Did you have the pleasure?
Yeah, I've had the misfortune of seeing this movie, mate. It's a black and white follow-up to Human Centipede. It is without doubt one of the
black and white.
It's in black and white, the whole movie, mate. It's without doubt one of the most depressing films I've ever seen. It's up there with Irreversible, the Monica Bellucci film, which is a piece of art, but a horrific movie. This horrific movie, there's nothing good here whatsoever. There's you don't feel good about yourself watching this movie. It's a piece of shit. It's F.
I imagine that's what it was going to be. Let's go get some comments before we get to these other movies. Oh, got behind again. Must remind me, Pete.
Sorry.
Let's have a look. Whoa, we're well behind. Dave says, I'm not saying the cannibal movies are good. I don't condone or like animal cruelty in them, but there's just something realistically scary about them. Again, only my opinion. I don't really mind animal cruelty. It's just cannibal, just the idea of it. I don't like it. Puts me off. Dutch film book Cannibal Holocaust is a horror masterpiece. If you say so.
Here's the thing, Vas. People love Cannibal Holocaust. It has its fans, and without a shadow of a doubt, everybody says that the Blair Witch Project was the first found footage film. It wasn't. The blueprint was definitely from Cannibal Holocaust. So you've got to give respect where respect is due. But the content it's just so mean, bloody spirited. I've even watched interviews with some of the cast members. They didn't have a good time filming it. Apparently, they were all off their faces on coke. The women that get raped in this movie, the women who get raped in this movie didn't like what they were doing. The director was a bit of a fucking perv. Fuck that noise. This movie, it's not a good movie.
Dave says, I like the genre. Typically, I don't love it. Just kind of like it in a horror movie kind of way. Yeah, that's not what I want for my horror films. Dave says, I have Shark Night 3D on video. I bought for like $5 a long time ago, and the effects are terrible. The story I kind of like, but the effects are terrible, and I give it a 3 out of 10. Yeah, not the best, is it? Rabia says, nice to see your daughter, Pete. She's very pretty.
Thank you, Rabia. She definitely
Dave
doesn't
says,
get
Merry Christmas, Pete. Thank goodness for that.
Totally.
Dave says, I got to see Lucy in the theaters and I paid for it. I give it an 8.5 out of 10. Yeah, that's a fun one.
I like the fact
Dave
that
says, I love
like
how
the
in the
fact
theater it seemed almost like we were sitting there watching.
Oh, sorry, I'm saying I like the fact that every time now Dave says I saw this movie in the theaters, he puts a caveat in there. I paid for it. I paid for this one. I love the fact that we've got that relationship now.
Absolutely. We were sitting there watching a humongous aquarium or something because of the underwater station and all this and that, and deeply say. And even when walking home at night myself, for about 15 minutes, I thought sharks are going to jump out the bushes. That's funny. Dave says, ironic that you mentioned a Serbian film. I commented on that and gave it a rating. I think it was 8 out of 10 on Facebook, and that's when my new friend or whatever commented about Martyrs. Yeah, it's not one I would ever recommend to anybody. Dave says, and I said, oh, well, I didn't like Martyrs and so forth, and that's how I rewatched it on TV. And still, again, the same repetitive, but still didn't like it much. It was wasteful and gross. Definitely gross. Dave says, video nasties are always such a controversial thing to rate. I seem to find sometimes they hit so many people's buttons. A lot of them you don't even know why they were banned. It doesn't even make sense when you watch them. Seem pretty tame. Dave says, which ones are ND again? I can't see it too well. I'll stick it back on for you, mate. These are D so far, the 6. Dave says, behind the scene, the makers, producers had all those great effects, literally put CGI over them because their quote was to Alec Gillis that the public wouldn't like it without CGI. Yeah, how wrong they were.
Totally.
Dave says, I give the thing prequel a 5 out of 10, a C. It felt wicked and necessary. It wasn't that bad, but it wasn't that good. Just my opinion. A few scenes were okay.
Thoughts,
yeah.
Sorry, I've just got to nip the toilet. I'll be 2 seconds. All right.
Yeah, I'll get to his comments. Dave says, a second thought, I'll give it a 4.5, still a low C. Dave says, I have only seen reviews of Hellraiser Revelation. It doesn't look good. I haven't watched it yet. I saw the one after it, and that was really terrible. Yeah, man, it was the Hellraiser just they've gone super downhill. I think after the third, Dave says, at the Hellraiser anniversary convention in '97, I had a cigarette with Doug Bradley. I remember you saying, yeah, and met Butterball and the Chatterer and Flyboy from Dawn of the Dead at the same convention. Dave says, I got autographs and pics with the Cenobites, but it didn't get an autograph from Flyboy or take a picture with him. I didn't have enough money at the time to do so. That guy must be old now. Dave says, I did not like Hostel 3. I'll give it a 2 out of 10. Here I'll give it a D+. What a waste it was, even tamer than the other two. And it just felt silly and very wasteful. Yeah, these torture porn movies are not my cup of tea at all. San says, what's your favourite horror movies of the 2010s, 2010 to 2019? God, I have no idea, mate. You got any idea on that, Pete?
No,
maybe Evil Dead?
I mean, yeah, I would say an S tier movie is got to be the Evil Dead remake. I'd have to check my dates. I'd have to check my dates, mate. Because straight away I'm thinking about the Inside, Martyrs, and Hot Tension, but I can't remember what years they were from. So I'd have to check my dates. But certainly Evil Dead remake it's up there. I had a blast with that movie. Yeah, absolutely.
Me, first thing that came to mind was I was Insidious and The Conjuring, because I like good scary movies, and those ones I found super scary and super good.
Fair play.
Film Girl is here. Hiya. Merry Christmas. Final Destination 5 is my personal favorite of the franchise. Wow. Dave says, I like Human Centipede 2 a bit. Not a lot, but I'll give it a 7 out of 10. They changed it up, they put it in black and white, and they gave us a different type of villain. Yeah, I'm never going to watch those movies, dude. Mike, Real Fifth Beatle says, the Serbian film scarred me, and me too as well.
Me too.
Every time I see something...
It was one of those films, mate, that I immediately thought I wish I could unwatch that film. That, it was burned into my psyche. That child rape at the end was... you're watching a movie, you don't want to watch a bit of child rape. It's, call me old-fashioned. I don't like child rape in my movies and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I saw an interview once with the director of a Serbian film, and he was asked, basically someone asked him the question, dude, what the fuck is this movie about? It's so fucked up. What is it about for you? And he said, it's a euphemism for the way the Serbian government treats the Serbian people. They fuckers, blah, 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 etc. And you know what? If I was Serbian, I might get that reference. But you know what? I'm just a poor schmo from Newton Acre that don't get that reference. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Honestly, every time anybody mentions Serbian film, I always give a fair warning to people to they shouldn't really watch that movie because you can't unwatch it. I always give them, because I hear people talk about it nonchalantly, some people like these extreme movies, and it's one of the movies you just can't mention just offhand. You have to have a warning with it to say there's a good chance that thing's gonna it's gonna affect you, because it's one of those things you just some scenes just pop in your head, just years later a scene will just pop in your head and you're thinking, why the hell did I watch that movie?
I mean, here's the thing about a Serbian movie. Here's the thing. It's well made, it's well directed, and it's perfectly well acted. It's a seriously well-crafted movie. When you're watching it, there's no doubt that you're watching a well-crafted piece of cinema. It's the content. the content is so crazy and so off its head, so extreme. It just takes you to a real bad place. And I want to have a good time. I don't mind a horror movie that makes me feel a little bit dirty after I watch it. That's fine. I like downbeat endings. That's absolutely fine too. But where this movie takes you is not a good place to be. And that's why I strongly, dislike a Serbian film. Strongly.
Yeah. Takes you to places you just don't want to go.
Yeah.
Dave says, thank you, Pete. Yeah, I just think it's the creative writer in me that puts those caveats in their details. I suppose I love them. Mike says, I haven't seen the later Rest films. No, I haven't seen them either, mate. But if you like extreme gore and not much else, go ahead and give it a shot. I'm surprised they're not more popular, to be honest, because a lot of people just are in it for the gore.
Do you know what the thing is with the Collector? Very much, Chrome Skull reminds me very much of the Collector movies. Violent, dark, and it puts a killer in front of you that you're supposed to, that's a proper character, right enough, but maybe not, a Freddy or a Jason or anything like that. Not that iconic. I was always very kind of not disappointed, but surprised that we didn't get a third Collector movie. I'd heard that there was a movie called The Collection in the pipe, but it just doesn't seem to have happened.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the second one. I don't like the first one, but I don't mind the second one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a lot better made than these later Rest movies, though.
Yeah, true.
Far better. True. Dave says, my projectionist friend era was mostly all of the 80s, pretty much. For me, paying for movies was in between that era and after it. Dave says, is that one of the Collector movies in the D section, Vas? No, that was Chrome Skull, wasn't it? Chrome Skull,
we were just talking about that, Dave. Wow.
We were, yeah. So far, I thought they were a little too disjointed and confusing and silly. It's great we're talking about the same, but yeah, to be honest, I wish we hadn't got onto that subject. Yeah, it's Christmas. We shouldn't be talking about the second film. Right, let's move on to the next one.
No problem.
Right, I think we've made a good dent in these movies, but there's quite a few to get through, Pete. I want to get through fast. Okay. Right, mate. Wrong Turn 4. I've seen it. It's fucking horrible. I hate it. I hate the Wrong Turn movies. After the second one, I can take. After that, fuck them all. I didn't mind the remake actually. The remake, like the reboot sort of one, not too much.
Yeah.
But they're just so mean spirited and horrible. I hate them. What do you think, Pete?
I agree, mate. I don't know if I've seen this movie, mate, because they are much the same. But I'm not a fan of Wrong Turn, mate. So I'm going to say I haven't seen it and let you put this in F.
Yeah, it's a fucking horrible film.
Fair play.
People like that franchise. Like I said, it's like one of the ones like Saw. I'll take the first one. It's good. Forget the rest. I don't even know. Like if they didn't exist, it wouldn't. I'd be totally happy with that.
Fair play.
The next one is Fertile Ground. This is one of the movies I got last year from the charity shop that was closing down for like 5 pence, and I got it watched, and it was okay. It was fine. Had one or two jump scares in there. I don't remember much about it, but it was perfectly fine. Have you seen it, Pete?
Yeah. I watched it yesterday. I watched it yesterday for the first time, mate. It's a perfectly serviceable, pregnancy horror of pregnancy movie. It's got a pretty predictable storyline. Everything in it is pretty predictable. It didn't offend me. It's stick it there, mate. It's a C movie, 100%.
Yeah. And the next one is Intruders, which I have not seen. Have you seen it?
I think I've seen it years ago, mate. I think it's an alien movie with Clive Owen, and I remember it being quite.
It's a what movie?
I think it's an alien movie.
It is.
If I'm not mistaken, and maybe someone can tell me about it, but I don't really remember much about it apart from it was fairly low key. Everything about it was fairly low key, which is probably why it didn't really make because I think Clive Owen at the time was, just done Sin City. He was making some good movies and everything like that. And I think this was the beginning of him starting to go to a DVD bit in the EU. I can't remember enough of this to grade it, mate, to be fair, but I think this is an alien invasion movie. It wasn't very good.
Right, okay. It's, I mean, if you've seen it, Pete, I don't like movies and not scenes. Do you want to just stick it? If you don't remember it, but you have seen it, do you want to just stick it in D?
Yeah, stick it in D, mate. Yeah, stick it in D. I have seen it. I don't really remember it, mate, but I'm pretty sure that it was an alien invasion movie.
Yeah, right. The next one is One of the Dead. Have you seen that movie?
Mate, I own One of the Dead. I love One of the Dead. It's have you seen it?
Okay, I've not seen it. No, mate, I haven't.
Mate, see One of the Dead. It's fucking brilliant. It's up there with Shaun of the Dead. It's absolutely fucking, what they achieve in this movie with the budget is sublime. It's a proper zombie comedy movie. It's a stunning piece of film. I think one, if I'm not mistaken, he's a homeless dude that just ends up in the middle of this zombie apocalypse, and he's everything that you don't expect from your hero, but he becomes this hero, and it's got set piece after set piece after set piece, and I think the ending, if my memory serves me correctly, ends is on a boat, and the zombies on the boat and everything like that. I love this movie, mate. It's very creative. It uses massive talent behind and in front of the camera. Not quite S tier, but very bloody close. It's like
highly recommended.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a 3-pointer for me, this movie. Yeah, anybody who hasn't seen One of the Dead should watch One of the Dead. It's fucking brilliant.
Dude, I'm going to watch that movie.
Do it.
Right, the next one is Priest, which I remember watching when it came out, and I thought it was okay.
Yeah, me too, mate. It's an open
action,
movie.
Stick it in C.
Yeah.
I think there was another one as well that was out there around the same time. I don't know if it was related. I think that one had Dennis Quaid in it. What's that one called? And this guy's in it as well. Oh, what the hell is that movie called?
Dennis Quaid's the.
Anyway, the next.
I know the one you mean, mate.
Is he in that one?
I think.
Yeah.
I think he might be in. Is he not in Priest? Does he not work behind the counter at the fucking Waffle House at the start of the movie?
Yeah, maybe I am thinking of that movie. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, forget that. The next one is Quarantine 2. I remember I quite like Quarantine, the remake of Wreck. I don't remember liking this one much. What did you think?
I watched it this week, mate, for the first time. I'd never seen this movie before. I didn't ever want to watch this movie before. Do you know what? As a standard TV movie type deal, it was all right. It didn't have nowhere near a budget, obviously, that Quarantine had. Not too many likable characters or anything like that, but you plod on with it. It's quite pacey. It's not badly done at all. It wasn't offensive to me, mate. It's a nil point for me. Nil point.
Nil.
Yeah.
Okay, that's indeed. Right. The next one is Red State. I don't think I've seen this one, mate. It's a Kevin Smith film.
Kevin Smith film, yeah. I've seen this one.
Is that the one at the end with the siren at the end? Is that the one? Like they play this big siren thing at the end. Is that Red State where at the end of the movie it's like supposed to be like end, like there's a big siren thing going off, like it's supposed to be the end of the world or something, and the big siren goes off.
I don't remember that, man. I remember John Goodman, and I remember it being pretty much a rip-off of what happened in Waco. From what I remember, mate, it's an okay movie. I think it was a movie of two halves, which is very much what Kevin Smith tends to do with his movies. You know, they usually have one good half and one not so good half. And I think that Red State very much kind of followed suit for that. The good half being very good and the bad half being very bad. So it's another nil point for me, mate.
Nil point. Okay, there it goes. And the next one is Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, which I have seen and I remember absolutely nothing about it, Pete. So it's down to you.
Same kind of here. You know, I think it's produced by Del Toro. So I was quite excited about seeing this film, and it was based on an old TV movie, very much like Dark Knight of the Scarecrow type deal. So I was quite excited about that, but ultimately it's about little goblins that are supposed to be scary and they're not scary. So it's done very well. I think Guy Pearce is in this movie. I always like a bit of Guy Pearce. Let's give it 1 point. It's a 1 point movie for me. It's not it's not worthy of nil point. Definitely needs a point, but not worthy of anything else.
Okie dokie. Oh. Right. Let's quickly go to the comments. Right, Dave says, some of Wrong Turn 4. I like the idea that the people are either going to freeze to death or have to go back inside and get killed by those monster people. I like part 5 better. Dave says, Wrong Turn 4, I'll give 4 out of 10. Let's see. Okay. I did not like the remake of Wrong Turn either, though it was the same makers of the original. I'll give it a 2 out of 10. I really like that one.
I like that.
I'm surprised I liked it because I've totally gone off the Wrong Turn. I've totally gone off the franchise, but that one there was all right. Dave says, didn't like Priest too much. I thought it was forgettable, but had some good action scenes in it. I did like the story. It was too cliched to me. Give it a 6 out of 10. And that was the movie with Dennis Quaid in Legion.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, are they connected? Dennis Quaid was also in Legion, so was Doug Jones, and they even had a stunt baby, an animatronic in the car when the car's an accident. The station wagon, I think it was. Interesting. Wonder if that was before or after this one.
Yeah. Right,
next one is Red Riding Hood, which is barely a horror, dude, but I have seen that one. Is that the one with Gary Oldman?
I don't know, mate. I've not seen this one.
To be honest, I don't really remember anything, so I'm just going to stick it in not seeing because I might have seen it. I'm not sure. Okay. Next one is Silent House. Another one. I'm not sure. I might have seen it. I don't know. Have you seen it, mate?
I've seen it, mate. Yeah, I've seen it. It's Elizabeth Olsen's, I think, probably a first movie. The hook for this movie was it was a movie done in one take. So the camera never breaks away, and I think it might have genuinely been done in one take as well. It's rather than fancy editing. It's it's a technical achievement, but it's not really scary. I think it's a remake as well from the original foreign movie, which is also called Silent House. I hear that's pretty scary, but this one wasn't scary, mate. But a technical achievement, so I'll give it a C.
C, right?
Yeah.
There we go. The next one is so many movies, dude.
I know.
2011. Right, it's Awakenings. I recognize her, but I don't recognize the movie. Have you seen it?
I think it's Rebecca Hall, I believe. I think that's her name. She's the
it is,
yeah. I think it's Rebecca Hall, who's becoming a bit of a scream queen. I own The Awakening. I think I bought it, from a DVD bin. It was like £1, and I ended up watching it. It's all right. It's very British. It's nothing to write home about, mate. It's nil pois all day long. It's very forgettable, but she's very good.
Right. And the next one is Inbred, which I'd never even heard of.
No, I've not seen this one, buddy.
I didn't think so. And the next one is Hidden 3D, another one I've never heard of.
I have not seen this one. I've seen it all over the place. I should have watched it right by now, but no, I've not seen this one.
Yeah, I put a lot of the ones I figured that we hadn't seen near the end, so I figured a lot of these are going to be in there, not seen. The Afflicted, mate. Have you seen that?
I have, mate. I watched this on when did I watch it? Friday night, I think. Friday night I watched it.
Oh, okay.
It's a horrific film. Is The Afflicted? It's very gritty. It's a character piece. It's about a woman essentially who is abusing kids and what that abuse leads on to. Have you ever seen a movie called The Girl Next Door? I think it's a Jeff Kitchum, based on a Jeff Kitchum novel or Jack Ketchum novel. It's a true story about a neighborhood in the States, and there was this woman essentially, and she somehow persuades all the neighborhood kids to kidnap this one girl from the neighborhood, and they hold her in the cellar and torture her for months until she dies. This happened. I suspect this movie is loosely based on this fucking story. At the start of the movie, it tells you that it's based on a true story, and I think that's the case that it's based on. It's a sad, horrific, horrible little movie, this one, mate. We're treated to multiple scenes of child abuse in this movie, and then we get a bit of rape in this movie, and I'm not talking about hints of rape and everything like that. I'm talking about prolonged scenes of rape multiple times throughout the movie, which led me to believe that the movie was more about titillation than it was a character piece. Kane Hodder's in this movie actually doing a bit of acting as well. And there is some really good acting in this movie. The woman that plays the psycho mother in this movie, she's really good. You believe her, like she's fucking nuts. But it's a sad, morbid, horrible little film, mate, to be fair. It's an F picture, -1 point for its content. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I hated The Afflicted.
I'm sorry I had to make you watch that, Pete. My apologies.
Right. Put the list on the screen. We have the list on the screen.
Oh, shit. Yeah, okay. Right, there it is in F. The Afflicted goes in F.
Sweet.
And the next one is The Devil's Rock, which I haven't seen. Looks pretty low budget. Have you seen it?
No, I've not seen this one, buddy.
Let's get rid of that. Not seen. The Hidden Face. Never heard of that one.
I've not seen this one, buddy. Not a bad poster. Quite subtle. I like it.
And the next one is called Dear God, No. I've never heard of that one.
Yeah, good title, man. And I even like the kind of exploitation artwork, but I've not seen this one, buddy.
Oh, it looks a bit like Hobo with a Shotgun, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Right, the next one is that Kane Hodder again. Exit 33. I've never heard of that. It looks super low budget.
Yeah.
Or it's just a really crap poster. I don't know.
I've not seen it, mate, but yeah, it absolutely looks like I've just made that poster on my computer.
Yeah, that would totally put me off watching the movie, just that poster. Next one is called 2359, an Army Ghost Story. I've never even heard of it. Have you?
Do you know what? I quite like Army Ghost Stories, mate. There's a Japanese Army Ghost story. I can't remember the name of it, but it fucking rocks. I tried searching for this movie, mate. 2359. Let me tell you, when you try searching for a movie called 2359, you're not getting that movie. You're getting everything fucking but that movie, mate. So I couldn't find it.
Right. Okay. Is that movie you're talking about, the Army Ghost Story? Is it called Art Point?
Yeah, I like Art Point. Yeah, absolutely.
Art Point's good. Yeah, it's a good film. And the next one's called 51, Area 51. Have you seen it?
Yeah,
I feel like I might have seen it. I don't remember it.
Area 51 is the follow-up movie from I think it's Oren Peli who made the original Paranormal Activity.
I've seen this one, yeah.
Yeah, this was his follow-up movie.
Oh,
I think it was shelved for quite a long time, but I finally got to see it. It was okay, as found footage, alien movies go and everything like that. It wasn't offensive. It zipped along. I liked it. So, let's give this 1 point for being all right.
Okay, for not sucking. Right, good. And the next one is Hellgate. Another one I've never heard of.
Yeah, no, and listen, again, I tried searching for this one, but it kept bringing me up the William Hurt box office disaster Hellgate, so I couldn't find this one at all, mate. So but good title. I like the title, but I'm right.
And the next one is I've seen this all over the place, but I never got around to watching it. It's called The Task. Yeah,
I watched this week, Vass. It was horrible, mate. It was essentially it's about a reality TV show where the people have to die. Essentially, it's that old niche reality TV show thing, and it's not done very well at all. It's fucking horrific, actually. To be fair, it's an F movie. This, mate, it's shite, absolute shite.
I'm glad I must have known, Pete, because it keeps popping up everywhere. Like when you check up horror movies on the different streaming sites, it's all over the place. But I never got suckered into watching it. Lucky me.
Quite right.
The next one's called Chillerama. I don't know what the hell that is, mate. I don't even know if that's a movie. That's weird.
No, I've not seen it, buddy. I've not seen it.
No. The next one is The Tunnel. Don't know what that is.
I've not seen this one, bud, but I like the poster. I think it's intriguing.
And the next one is The Woman.
Yeah, this is a movie by Lucky McKee, and he'd done a movie previously. Has it got Bruce Campbell in? No, you're thinking of the one where it's based in a school with Bruce Campbell in, and he's a teacher.
Right, okay.
I think it's called The Dark or something like that, or The Woods.
Is that Lucky McKee as well, isn't it?
I think it is. Yeah. I mean, prior to this, he'd done a movie called May, which is quite a good movie, but it's not really a horror movie. And I would say that the same for The Woman. It's not really a horror movie, even though what happens in the movie is quite horrific. The main woman who plays the woman, I think she's in The Walking Dead. I do believe she's in The Walking Dead. Anyway, it's a pretty nasty film about what happens when a family torture a woman and what this woman becomes when she goes out for revenge. It's not a nice film. And it's not a memorable film. I'll give it a point because it's well made.
So it goes in C.
Yeah.
Oh, did I just stick that in D? I did, didn't I?
Oh yeah.
It goes there.
There we go.
Right. Just is that two more to go? Right. Toomey Unlimited. I've seen a couple of Toomey movies. I don't know which one this one is. I don't know if I've seen it or not. Any idea?
I've not seen this one, buddy. Not seen any of them.
No. I think there's quite a few of these Toomey movies. I've watched a couple of them. They're very hard to follow. And the last one is Francis Ford Coppola's Twixt, which I ain't seen either.
I watched this the other night, mate, and I thought to myself, Francis Ford Coppola behind the camera, You got Val Kilmer in front of the camera. You've got quite a lot of dependable famous. I think Bruce Dern's in there as well. He's always good value. This movie is unequivocally a piece of shit. Everything about this movie it's badly directed, it's badly acted, it's very cheap. Val Kilmer is doing his best, man. And when was the last time you've watched a recent Val Kilmer movie where you thought Val Kilmer's acting his chops off? He's doing his best in this movie because you can see what's on Val Kilmer's mind. I'm in a movie from the guy who did The Godfather. What could go wrong? Everything's wrong with this movie, man. Everything's wrong with this movie. It's not scary. It's supposed to be like a dark fairy tale. It's not whimsical. It's fucking shit of the highest order. It's F without a shadow of a doubt, mate.
Stick that in there. And that's the last one, Pete. We'll quickly go through the comments and then we'll tot these up. Just get it.
Do the sum. No problem.
Yeah. Make it even smaller. It's good, doesn't it? We've got a 1 S tier movie in there, Pete. Right, let's quickly get to these comments. Right, have I read that before? No, I've read that. I've read that one. I've read that one. And the remake, we read that. Dave says, I didn't like Priest too much. I thought it was forgettable. Oh, no, I've read that one as well.
We read that one.
I'm going right back here for some reason. Dave says, I've seen most of that movie, I believe. So, Pete, that Ketchum thing you were discussing, I remember seeing some of it, at least most of it. Dave says, oh, I mean the movie in question that reminded you of that. Oh, I see that original movie. Dave says, by the way, Chrome Skull I saw a long time ago. I don't remember it being all that good, and I don't care about ratings, but I thought it was funny on IMDb. It was like a 1.8 or something like that. Wicked low.
Wow.
Dave says, I bought the remake of Prom Night for $3 many years ago, and the remake of Prom Night, I didn't like it. I think that's got Idris Elba in that one, isn't it? Or am I thinking of a different one? No, I'm thinking of another remake. I can't remember what it is now.
Did he say, yeah, I'm Idris fucking Elba?
He's got an American accent in it, though. I didn't think it was terrible. I'll give it a 2 out of 10. That sounds pretty terrible. I think I saw The Tunnel. Is that the one with the mental asylum that's haunted? And it has a haunted tunnel. No idea, mate. Couldn't tell you. If it's the movie I'm thinking of, it was like one of those direct-to-video type feels. I like some of it. Felt like a remake, rip-off, a remake of Houses on Haunted Hill. Okay, Dave says, well, somehow you did it quick enough, Vas. Again, a lot of selections I somehow haven't seen. It was a great stream. Thanks for letting me. You're always welcome here, Dave. You're always welcome. Dave says, thanks for letting me babble on. Sorry again, text-to-speech. No problem, mate. Dave says, it was another great way to spend my birthday weekend. You are entirely welcome. Right, should we... yeah. Right. Actually, before we do that, let's just quickly roll the scorecard from all the previous episodes. So that's all the previous scores. And last week was the terrible 15 points from 1994, the worst year in horror. So let's tot these scores up, man. Pete, have you got your calculator with you?
Yep.
Okay, so 2011, we have only one S-tier movie, and that is Attack the Block, which I thought, I wasn't sure if it deserves S-tier, but that's where it is. So that's 5 points.
Okay.
Yeah, and A, we've got Cabin in the Woods, Sleep Tight, You're Next, and One of the Dead. Actually, no, Pete, 3 of those movies you put in A, by the way, but that's fine. That's okay. So that's 3, 6, that's 12 points.
12 points.
Yeah, and B tier, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 12 points.
Oh, hold on a sec, mate. Sorry. What was that last one, mate?
Okay, so A was 12 points, and B was 12 points as well.
All right, okay.
Yeah, and C tier was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 points.
Okay.
And D tier has no points, so there's no point counting that. And F tier was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you got a minus off 9 points. And yeah, and what did we get?
The magic score, mate, is 35.
35.
Yep.
That's actually higher than I thought. You think that's because of the sheer number of movies that came out in 2011? Might have something to do with it.
I think it's got to be. I think my feeling on 2011 is there's a lot of okay movies in 2011. I think they were serving us, fairly mediocre movies, but nothing quite, nothing too offensive. Although there were, we did have quite a few Fs in this movie, right? In this week's episode, right enough. But yeah, it's. I mean, again, Attack the Block in S tier. That could be debatable. You know what I mean? Maybe it's nostalgia, why S tier. But for me, Attack the Block, given its competition, is probably a little bit ahead of everything else.
It's an all-time classic. I don't know if I would put it in all-time classic, but it's. I mean, it easily go in A, but it's in there now anyway. So let's not.
It's a movie that it's a movie that I'll revisit, Vas, and I'll watch it again. So I think that's probably the reason why. But yeah, it was tough to get an S tier movie this week for sure. Did we have anything in S tier in 1994? I can't remember.
Yeah, we had In the Mouth of Madness.
Of course.
That's it. Yeah, without In the Mouth of Madness, it would have been 10 points, dude.
That's true. That's
10 points. Right, so let's quickly have a look at the leaderboard and let's see where it fits in our leaderboard. And this is our leaderboard. If it loads up. Right, okay. So it's second from bottom. 2011 is 35 points, so it's second from bottom. So, I mean, it was higher than I thought it was going to be, actually. Yeah. There was 35 points, but still sitting there. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth. In 10th place out of 11. So it didn't really do that well, even though it had literally like 20 more extra movies than the ones we've been doing for the previous weeks. So,
no, second off bottom. It's that's a shame for 2011. To be fair, but the scores don't lie, Chief. The scores don't lie.
Yeah. Right, Pete. So the question is, next Sunday is New Year's Day. Are we doing a stream on New Year's Day? Are you okay with that?
100%. Absolutely. New Year's Day, mate. Why not?
So we're going to do a review of the year. So that means we're going to be doing 2022, correct?
2022. Yeah. 2022. And that, it ticks a couple of boxes. We can do our films of the year, but we can also rate the year in the tier section and see how it's compared to all the others. I mean, my initial kind of thinking is, I think it's been an okay year, but not groundbreaking. That's that's my initial thoughts on this year. Had Even Dead Rise come out in October like it was supposed to, we might be singing a different tune, but it hasn't. Therefore, we're not. But we'll see. We'll see. And this week will give us the opportunity to. Incidentally, Vas, right? I noticed one movie was missing from your list, and
really,
yeah. It was a movie called Snowtown that was made in 2011. Have you ever heard of Snowtown?
Never heard of it.
It's an Australian film, and it's based on a true story about a real serial killer. And essentially, what they used to do was they'd kidnap victims, and they'd get them all to phone their family members and say, I'm going out of town for a couple of days, don't contact me, blah, 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 and they'd kill them. That was their MO. It's either called the Snowtown Murders, as it's known in Australia, and in the UK, it's called Snowtown. Watch it, Vas. It's one of the most horrific movies you'll ever see. It's very gritty. It's very realistic. I wouldn't say it's horror, more crime biopic because it's done so realistic. It's unbelievable. I think they used actual general people rather than actors, and they do it very, very well. Check out Snowtown, Vass, from 2011. I was surprised it wasn't on the list, but then I thought to myself, well, is it horror? And no, it's more biopic, but you should check out Snowtown, Vass. It's one of those movies that you'll watch once, probably never want to watch again. But it's graphic. Like the camera is constantly on, and some of the killings are very long-winded. Let's just say, but it's a remarkable piece of cinema, and it's a remarkably directed movie. And it's very intense, and it's very, the movie has a point to it. Watch it. I think the same director recently did a movie, and I can't remember the name of it, but recently did a movie with the chap from Get Out. The white brother who shows up in Get Out, and he's the guy who likes to wrestle and stuff like that. He's in this movie, and the chick from The Babadook is also in this movie, and he's a misfit. And it's a true story of this guy in Australia who grabs a gun and goes and just murders like 30-odd folk. And it's his journey on how he got there. So he's a good filmmaker, this guy. I recommend this Snowtown. Yeah, check out Snowtown from 2011. It's excellent.
Snowtown, people, write that down. Right, we'll crack on with these comments, and then I think we'll call it a night.
No problem, buddy.
Dave says, great to see the others here as well. Yeah, absolutely. Didn't like this year too much. I'm still going to pick, I think 1978 is the best year, followed by 82 as my top two favorites.
Okay.
After that, I guess, followed by 94. Maybe not 94. Dave says, for the so far in this, yes, I'm with you. Dave says Val Kilmer was good in The Bad Lieutenant 2. Yeah.
I forgot he was in that. I just remember Nick Cage and his fucking iguana in that movie. Yeah, good movie. I don't
remember Val Kilmer in that either. Dave says, I like Attack the Block. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. And B. Yeah, got that, Davey. Attack the Block, I'll give it a 7.5. Big C, almost a B. I thought Pete was going to say you missed The Entity again. That's funny, Dave. I saw a video recently, Pete, where they said that there's going to be a Wolf Creek 3. I like the series and the TV series as well. I love the main actor, is scary, and it's another real can happen thing.
Yeah,
I've only seen the first one, and that was enough for me.
Yeah, I really like Wolf Creek. It was I saw a sneak preview of it in Edinburgh Cinema. We got invited. We genuinely didn't know what movie we were going to watch. So luckily for me, it was a fucking horror movie. So when I came out, they had this form that I had to fill in. As an audience member, what did you like? And I remember being super stoked about Wolf Creek when I came out, and I said, this movie will be talked about in the same breath as the Texas Chainsaw Massacre in 10 or 20 years to come because of the infamous villain, blah, 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 blah. So maybe, I've cooled down a little bit from my initial reaction from the movie.
I think so,
but definitely. But, no, I mean, I liked it. Wolf Creek 2, I thought was quite enjoyable as well. I wasn't a big fan of the series, although, it had its moments for sure. It's just, I didn't really understand why a series of Wolf Creek was greenlit. It seems like a movie type deal to me rather than a series. There you go.
Yeah.
What a one.
Yeah. So okay, people. Same time. Oh, actually, we'll be back to 8 o'clock. Is that right, Pete? Next
back
Sunday.
To 8 o'clock. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, we are going to be doing. That's New Year's Day. We're going to be doing the 2022 year in review and ranking. So join us there. Thanks for joining us today on Christmas Day. It's been a blast. And enjoy the holidays, people. You want to say anything, Pete?
Again, Vas, thank you for having me, mate. It's an absolute pleasure. It always is a pleasure, never a chore. And thank you, everybody. And can I just say, share the shit out of this video, please. We want more bloody views than we got last week. Come on, man. Christmas Day, man. Give us a fucking break, man. We're busting our necks out here for you, lot, man.
It's all we want for Christmas.
Exactly. Go onto a stranger's computer and just play the fucking video, and then we'll get an extra like, please. Do that on a million different computers, please, and that'll be fine. Vasi puts a lot of fucking effort into this. You know, during the week, he's messaging me, going, have you watched this? Have you watched this? And I'm like, holy shit, Vas. You've got to support this man. He's a genius. There you go.
All right, guys. So I think maybe next week might be the last Best Year in Horror, and then we might go on into something different. But like I say, it'll be this year that we'll be doing. So please join us. We're gonna have a good time. It'll be a laugh. All right, people. Take care and stay warm, stay safe. Goodbye.